All right. Starting a little late today because I had to run and get water and coffee and stuff, and a lot of people had to pay rent or take care of their kids. So a lot of people are going to jump on at 12. A lot of the speakers are going to jump on at 12. But until then, y'all are welcome to listen. Y'all are welcome to jump on, request to be in the live. And the theme of today is talking about food and spirituality with Miss Chelsea Monet, who is coming at 12, and talking about kids with Ashley at 12:30. And for now, let's talk about how in artistic communities we are usually spiritual communities as well, and that's what, and both spirituality and art create community through identity, through shared identity. Like, a big part of my why, like why I do what I do, is to validate individuality, because I've always been like a creative person, but I feel like everybody is creative. Like, if you're a human being, you are creative. But I feel like a lot of the time we're talked out of being creative because we're told to conform to a certain standard or a certain definition of success. And it's the job of the artist to tell you you don't need to do that, and to encourage you to be yourself. There's actually an author who studied this. He was back in the 70s. I think he died like 5 years ago or something. His name is Joseph Campbell, and he studied specifically something called the hero's journey. It's about your individual journey, how everybody is the hero in their own story. And he did it before TikTok was cool, before TikTok even existed. And he was talking about like how in all of these myths and all of these legends and all of these stories, it's always about a hero going away from home and then coming back. Jesus is included in this category. Like, there are a lot of stories that talk about needing to go away from the community in order to find the gold, and in order to bring gold back to the community. So one of my favorite books is by him. It's called The Power of Myth, and he always addresses the Greek myths, especially like what's his name, the guy Perseus, who like cut off Medusa's head or whatever, you know. He was someone who also went away from the community and came back to bring the gold. And that's like, you know, the job of the artist, the job of the preacher, the job of the individual. Let me put a theme down here so there's a little more direction. We're not just going in random directions. I wanted to talk a lot more about something specific, because Chelsea wants to talk about food. Ashley wants to probably talk about she's a mom, so I'm guessing she's probably going to want to talk about her kid and stuff. I'm thinking if we could talk about, let's talk about art and spirituality's role in capitalism. Let's do that. I feel like both Ashley and Ashley and Chelsea will be talking about that in a way. Okay, so at the bottom I'm going to put, what is art and spirituality's role in capitalism? Alright. And let's pin that. Cool. Alright. So, before I sat down, I was talking about the hero's journey. There's like, you know, right now, there's like that trend of like, you are the hero of your own story. You are the main character of your own life, that whole thing. But this is actually an idea that's been happening since the 1970s. This dude, Joseph Campbell, was like a university teacher, I want to say. And he studied different cultures legends and myths and fairy tales. And he would like analyze their ideologies and their spiritualities and stuff like that by analyzing their stories. Because if you study like, you know, the Bible and stuff like that, then you get a sense of like who these people are. Because there's different versions of the Bible, you know, so you get a sense of like who those people are, and figure out what they believe and stuff. And when it comes to this weekend, actually, I was thinking about this a lot, because we in the Western world don't really like to acknowledge the spiritual side unless it's like Christianity. And even then, it's like, oh, like nowadays, it's like, oh no, science is right. Science is always right. Thinking like you can't have God and like science in the same belief structure, you know? But like, there is definitely like a culture shift happening right now. It's been happening. It's always happening, I guess. But with like considering, I should have planned better for this. That's what I should have done. I'm sorry. I like hit a wall a few days ago, so it's a little tender, I guess. But okay, let's do a quick study. Oh shit, I forgot about this. This is random as fuck. Oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Okay, so in fairy tales, when something bad happens, it means that something new has to be tried. A new energy has to be introduced. A helper, healer, magical force has to be consulted. So, like, that's what I was trying to get at. Oh, fuck my life. Jesus. That's what I was trying to get at. Like, we don't really have, like, a culture of guidance or mentorships, you know? Or, like, rituals. Like, graduating high school is the closest thing I can think of when it comes to, like, mentorships and rituals, unless, like, you're in a trade school, you know? And that's kind of necessary to becoming better at a skill, or, like, just, like, better as a human being in general, just growing. Because, like, when you actually have, like, somebody who is not a parent figure that, like, can teach you how to do something, then it not only builds community, but it also, like, makes you realize something that you might want to do. It helps you build your skill sets. Like, I remember, actually, when I applied for this job, at, like, a mentorship, like, for, like, artists and stuff like that, my cover letter, I talked about how we're like returning to an age of like digital apprenticeships, and we are with like online courses and stuff like that. In online courses, we could see that as like virtual mentorships, because like maybe I don't know you, but I'm still mentoring you. Because if you're like watching a YouTube video of someone online giving advice, that's like a digital mentor, you know? So if like we're coming back to like an age of virtual mentorships and apprenticeships, but you have more mentors these days. You can choose who your mentors are these days, so it's kind of dope. Like, go through Instagram, scroll through like all the people on Instagram, and you hear like advice that they give, you hear their life stories, you hear like what they do for work. A lot of people share like their entire lives on YouTube, or like people in the music industry will post about the stuff they do and how they do it, you know, and that teaches other people how to do it. Like, YouTube University is more than just a university. It's like actual mentorships, because a lot of them are like available, you know. A lot of them have online classes, or like will do one-on-one sessions with you. So it's like we're returning to that era. The only thing is, like, if we go way back, way before like, you know, apprenticeships, in the sense where it was like all blacksmiths or silversmiths or whatever. If we're talking about spiritual apprenticeships, like, let's like not just focus on like the job component of it, but like the life component of it. There are a lot of people who would say spirituality is their form of therapy, and that usually means that like a priest or a preacher or whatever the religious, you know, head religious person or whatever was, they were technically like the entire town's therapist, you know. I feel like that's why Catholics invented confession, because they were like, we just need to talk about some shit in like a private little area where no one can hear us except for one person. But like back before Christianity was invented, back before Judaism was invented, there were polytheistic religions. I wouldn't call them religions. Faiths. There we go. Faiths. And they were usually less about like preaching, you know? It was more about like, how can I help you on your path? Like, how can I like, I don't know, just help your spirit as a human being? And I feel like that makes more sense, to be honest. Because like, I feel like you're talking at me if you're preaching to me instead of like listening to me. Especially because like, I don't know, I tried going to this one church. I've been to a couple of different churches, but I went to this one church in San Diego like last year, and I never went back because the man was like, I don't know, just like, the Bible is always right. Everything in the Bible is fact. Everything is like, you know, not an artistic interpretation. You shouldn't interpret anything in the Bible. It's all fact. Like, whatever. Like, I was talking to this girl, Mila, like a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about this. She said, like, you know, religion, they took the spirituality out of religion when they made it about one God. And I think that's right. Because when you acknowledge all these different energies, all these different spirits all around you, and you don't see it as just one thing, I feel like you're more likely to pay attention to nuance, and you're more likely to pay attention to individuality. Because if you think about everything as one, like, I think that one love, you know, that's a positive thing. But if you only think about one love the entire time, then that's like a breeding ground for conformity. When you acknowledge like different spirits and different divine presences, then that allows for more individuality. Because you acknowledge that all of these different forces are working together instead of just this one force that's overarching and like in control of everything. That's like, you know, monarchy versus democracy kind of deal, I guess. I mean, like, there's a reason why, like, religion came about when, like, cities grew up, because cities became monotheistic when, like, they needed to establish a more developed form of control, I feel like. And I'm talking about Judaism, I'm not talking about Christianity, by the way. Don't get me wrong, I love my people. I'm part Jewish, but, like, I don't believe in monotheism. I think it's kind of a bad idea. I think it's, like, I don't know. I feel like subconsciously it tells you there's only one way to do things. But I feel like listening to multiple spirits and, like, multiple gods, like Hinduism even, like, they had multiple gods that were all fighting with each other. And it allowed people to realize, oh, okay, wait, you can be divine even though you're not perfect. And that's something that's, like, really big that I kind of hate in our culture. Like, you don't have to be perfect to be divine, you know? A lot of the Greek gods were, like, you know, assholes to each other. They were always fighting. There was, like, a whole lot of, you know, messed up stuff happening. So, I don't know. I don't think that that's, like, a good faith to rely on. I'm gonna feel a little crazy talking to myself after a little while, but we are getting used to doing this. This is our second live stream. Yeah. You know what I'm gonna do? So, I'm not, like, a religious person, but I like to, like, open up, like, books to, like, a random place and, like, randomly do some journaling about it. And I especially like to do that with a couple of different books, specifically. There's Women Who Run with Wolves by Clarissa Estes Barton. Religious, spiritual texts, like Buddhist texts, Hindu texts, whatever. The Bible, I guess. And then there's also The Power of Myth. So, good morning to me. Oh, shit. Do you have a favorite mythic hero? When I was a boy, I had two heroes. One was Douglas Fairbanks, the other was Leonardo da Vinci. I wanted to be a synthesis of the two. Today, I don't have a single hero at all. Does our society? It did have. It had the Christ. And then America had men like Washington and Jefferson. And later, men like Daniel Boone. But life today is so complex, and it is changing so fast, that there are no time for anything to consolidate itself before it's thrown over again. Oh, that's interesting. Yes, and that's too bad. A questionnaire was once sent around one of the high schools in Brooklyn, which asks, what would you like to be? 2/3 of the students responded a celebrity. They had no notion of having to give themselves in order to achieve something. Just to be known. Just to be known. To have fame. Fame and name. That's so interesting. Okay. Like, I feel like some people really do want to be famous, but I feel like a lot of people don't really want to be famous. They just want to, like, be noteworthy, or they just want to feel seen. They want to, like, you know, be acknowledged. And I don't think that a lot of people who say they want to be famous actually want to be famous. Like, I forget who, like, wrote this, but there's, like, a rapper who, like, in this one line, his song, like, he said, those who never wore a crown are the first ones to grab it. Like, it's like, you know, heavy responsibility with heavy, what's the phrase? With heavy responsibility, with heavy freedom, with heavy power comes heavy responsibility. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I feel like people just want to be seen and be acknowledged. I don't think they actually want to be famous, because like there have been studies in like psychology that, I'm sorry, I'm running on 2 brain cells, you guys, but there have been studies in psychology that talk about, like, it's not about how many people you know, it's about the quality of people you know when it comes to your mental health. So if you have really good friends, you don't need a lot of friends, you know. Like, there were like these 2 brothers, for example, they were twins, and one of them was super outgoing and would talk to like a whole lot of people, but the other one was like a little more introverted, but he had like a tighter circle and they got to know each other a lot better. And the one who knew like a whole lot of people ended up killing himself because he didn't feel like he was actually a part of like a solid, tight-knit community. So it's not about like how many people you know, it's about the quality of people and whether you actually feel seen. Like Marilyn Monroe, like, never felt like she had a friend, even though she knew a lot of people. She felt like she didn't actually feel seen as a person because she was Marilyn Monroe, you know? Same thing with like Amy Winehouse and like, you know, a whole lot of people who ended up overdosing. Like, when you're not seen as a person and your individuality isn't acknowledged, then that's a breeding ground for mental illness. Like, I don't think that fame is like, you know, supposed to, I don't know, like, this is just my opinion, but I feel like you actually don't want to be famous unless you're a sociopath, like, or if you're just like, you love being the center of attention and like, you know, that whole thing. But when you're famous, people ask a lot of you, you know, it takes a lot out of you. So I don't think that a lot of people actually want to be famous. They just want to feel seen and have their individuality validated. That's like an inherent need as a person. But it's funny because in American culture, especially in Western culture, there are a lot of parenting tactics that are that have been proven to like not be as good for the mentality of a child. And like one of them is about, well, I mean, I think all parents like kind of do this, but like there's like a parenting book I saw like a long time ago comparing like parenting in different cultures, and like this like idea that like your kid is like a possession or an extension of you instead of being like their own individual being is something that a lot of parents tend to have, and like you don't see them as an individual. Because, like, the way that I see it, like, every human is born with their own personality. You know, there's, like, nurture and nature. Of course, you know, you get shaped by your environment, and you get shaped by, like, your genetics. But you're also, like, your own personality since birth, I think. And I grew up babysitting. I grew up around a lot of kids. So, a lot of them were born with their own personalities, even when they were, like, 2-year-olds. You know? I mean, I think that doing this is actually good. Doing this live is good. Talking to myself is, you know, talking to myself is good. But, yeah. I mean, like, that whole, like, guidance thing, and different like ways of guidance. I mean, I don't think that anyone actually wants to be famous. I think they actually just want to be seen. And that's actually a big part of art communities, I feel like. Because when you're expressing yourself in an artistic way, then you feel seen. I feel like that's why like art is, you know, seen as a form of spirituality, because you're being seen. And when you're expressing yourself, you're bringing your spirit to the physical realm, basically. Like if you're an artist, you are bringing your spirit to the physical realm for, you know, your own mental health. And that's part of the reason why art is devalued in schools. Like, it's easier to control a bunch of children if they're not super individualistic. Like, there's a reason why, like, math and science and, like, more rigid ways of thinking are promoted. And we could go into, like, the industrial war complex and stuff, but let's not get too into that today, because we talked about it last time, and we can talk about it today again if you guys want to. But I kind of want to do, like, something different today. And we have two new people, two new speakers joining at 12 and 12:30. They're going to be talking about food and spirituality by Miss Chelsea Monet. And Miss Ashley Quinter is going to be talking about spirituality being a mother and being an artist being a mother. As well as her personal relationship to the both, because she is a dope singer and she is also a believer in Jesus. So she's going to pop on at 12:30. But earlier I was talking about guidance and talking about mentorships in our society. Like, a lot of the time we don't have, like, guides to the spiritual realm, and the spirituality was taken out of religion. So, like, it's not really about, like, connecting to yourself anymore. It's about connecting to others. And I do think that you should be of service. You need to connect to other people, and there needs to be that give and take to connect to other people. That's what service is partly about. But a big part of spirituality, to me anyway, is connecting to yourself, being able to connect to yourself. And that's what the artist's job is. The artist teaches us how to connect to ourselves on our inner journeys. Because, you can, like, go to, like, a million different countries and still not really, like, get to know yourself. I think that it helps to get to know yourself by being aware of different perspectives, because the more you learn about other people, the more you learn about yourself, because you learn who you are in the context of yourself and this other person. You can learn about yourself that way for sure. But, like, I know some people, I didn't even think about this until this year. I know some people who will, like, travel a lot, and they always attract the same type of person to them, because I don't think that they're ready to step outside of their bubble. So, like, they'll always meet the same people. So traveling doesn't really, do that if you're not willing to talk to people outside of your comfort zone, or outside of, like, just, like, the two types of people that you like or whatever, personalities. I don't know. Like, there's a lot about, like, spirituality's role in capitalism, like how churches don't pay taxes and stuff like that. Maybe artists shouldn't pay taxes, because, like, we're actually teaching other people how to get to know themselves. Like, I don't think that's a little much, maybe. I don't know. But, like, I think that not funding the arts is intentional, because arts encourage individuality. And in the US, we like to think that we're an individualist culture, but we're really not. Like, Henry David Thoreau, the guy who was, like, with Walt Whitman and stuff like that, like, he was always about transcendentalism and worshiping nature and being an individual. But I don't think we really have a culture of individuality in the US in the same way. Oh, hey, Ash. Do you want to jump on? No pressure if you don't.
What's up? How you do? Oh, I realized I'm upside down. Am I still Oh, I'm upside down.
All good. I was doing that
Hey.
yesterday. I had to charge my phone.
You know what? I'm on my iPad, so can you even see me? Because it looks like I just
I
see my head.
can.
You
I
can?
can see your head, yeah.
Face too?
I can see your face. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a little sunny, but I can see your face clearly.
Oh, here,
Yeah.
let me, thank you for saying that. Let me move into some shade. I couldn't find, I was like, I'm going outside. It's beautiful. I have this coffee. It's quiet. It's peaceful. So
Yeah.
what's up,
I
guys?
mean,
What you talking about? I just popped in. I'm happy to be here.
happy to have you. So I was talking about kind of some random stuff. I went from
Okay.
talking about I was talking about mentorships and how like guidance is important to a lot of young people, but you can't really always count on your parents to guide you, and you can't always count on like your teachers to guide you. Like in some cultures, there's like this idea that you need spiritual guidance, but we don't
Mm,
really have that in our culture as much. Like preachers are a type of guidance, but it's not really like as tailored to like your spiritual journey. It's more like I'm preaching at you, unless like you're Catholic, and it's like I'm confessing my
mm.
stuff to you, you know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, just to talk about that a little bit, I went to a church that I didn't understand the language for like most of my childhood. But I was forced to have to be there because of my family. That was, I was baptized into that religion, married into that religion, and I just never felt any like true sort I'm looking for. Just like I didn't feel like I belonged there. I felt really out
Mm.
of place for years, and sure enough, I find out that I'm actually, not Egyptian. So I'm Puerto Rican and black. And so, I was raised in this religion that like just doesn't isn't a part of my bloodline almost. And it's like
Yeah.
my body and I knew that, but I didn't no, because it was a family secret. I wasn't allowed to be told like, my father's actually Puerto Rican and lives in Hoboken, New Jersey. I
Wait,
was
were you
raised,
adopted?
um, my mom just married someone while I was really young. So I was too young to even know. So, I mean, I don't even know if that considers me being adopted by him. Um, I was just married and, they just married and that was what happened. And so everyone knew around me and like my entire family knew. It wasn't any secret. It's just like I couldn't know, which was really weird. And I found out when I was 20 on Facebook.
Oh my God,
That
that's
whole
crazy.
family, yeah, that
Okay.
whole side of the world found me and they were like, hey, just so you know, it's not your real dad. And I'm your sister and I'm your brother. And it was this whole thing. Like, and I remember being in college and I printed this out and I took it to my mom and I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
shoot.
it's
Is
crazy.
there like a different like spirituality that that side of the family had?
I don't really know them like that still. So, like, if there is, I don't know. I've never gone. I don't know my father. I guess I haven't seen him since I was two. If he's in any religion, I wouldn't know because I don't ask. What I know of him is he's been just really, in and out of a lot of issues his entire life. And I'm talking about, alcoholism, jail, blah, blah, blah. And I just kept my distance. I don't know. I'm one of these weird people where like I don't need to know who my real father is to like live my life.
Mm.
And I guess you could call me cold in that way, but I lived so many years independently, um, on my own that I'm just like I know you exist and and that's cool. We can talk now, but like I'm not gonna like change and uproot my entire life just to know my father.
I
Um,
don't think that makes you a cold person, though. I think that makes you like a more warm person, if anything. Because one thing, like, you know that saying, like, blood is thicker than water?
mm, yeah.
But it actually, but like the actual, like, original saying, it was like something along the lines of the water, the blood of the coven is thicker than the water of the womb. So it was actually about like paganism and like
Hmm.
witches and stuff like that. And they would like say that their bonds were thicker than their like the water of the womb. it was like
Mm,
stronger than the ties that they had with their blood families, because their blood families didn't actually understand them like spiritually or individually.
mm,
So one thing that's like really big for me, especially when it comes to creative communities, is that like you are creating a new family. Like you are creating like a new people who actually get you. So I don't think that's cold of you. I think that just means that you see people as individuals instead of like, oh, I need to be in proximity to this person because we have this one thing in common, you know?
mm-hmm. I hear
It's like,
you. I totally feel you. I just like, I guess I feel like outcasted because all you see are like on TV and just like everywhere, like, oh, I have to find my father, I have to find my mother, and I'm just like, I don't feel that way. Um, and so I feel cold, you know, like, am I just like, do it? Like, not that I don't care. It's just, um, I'm living, like, I'm living in the present, you know, and I'm not trying to make up for
yeah,
like the last 30 years that I haven't had my father in my life. I'm just moving forward, you know, and however, and I honestly truly feel in my heart of hearts that if he wants this relationship, now he'll do everything he can to make that happen. He'll come find me. I don't need to find you. You've known about me my entire life. I didn't know about you, you know?
mm,
So it's
yeah,
like, yeah, I didn't have that need. So, you know, I just want to say, first off, thanks for inviting me to come chat with you today. And I just wanted to get that out there before I say that, before we keep going.
yeah,
This is
absolutely. It's a
fun.
pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
Like I always love the posts that you post on your story.
Hmm.
I actually still have that YouTube link that you have put on your story saved in like the back of my phone because I
Oh,
still have
good.
to watch that. Yeah,
No, it's good. It's
like
good. It was a good conversation that Kanye was having. I know he's super controversial in the news, but I don't believe everything I see and believe everything I hear, and I don't take everything for what I see it as. Like I'm someone who needs proof. I'm someone who doesn't make assumptions from other assumptions. Um, I gather my own ideas from what I see, and so like I support Kanye as an artist because we all have mental issues, and we're all kind of handling our own mental issues as we see fit. And
mm,
he's doing it in the limelight. And I just see it as extremely complex and difficult to do. But I also see it as he's blessed to be able to do it with so many people helping him see his wrongs and rights. Um, Whereas a lot of us are alone, in pain and in our own thoughts and suffering, quite frankly, alone with our
yeah.
mental illnesses.
I see you. Yeah, actually, I was just talking about this yesterday when I was in LA. That's so funny. I just came back to LA last night. I just kind of passed out, but my friend and I were talking on the drive to Union Station to catch the train about Kanye. And like, I still love his music. I think that the things that he says, I disagree with. But like, also, it's like how he says them. It's not just like what he's saying, it's like how he presents the information a lot of the time that I have an issue with. Because like, I can see what he's saying when he says certain things, but I don't think that he said it the right way, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that makes me mad personally, because I feel like if you are in the public eye, then you should know how to articulate yourself better, especially if other people are looking up to you. Like, I feel like you do have a responsibility as someone in the public eye to say things and present things in a certain way. Because, like, well, you have a kid. Like, I'm sure, like, you don't want someone to be listening to like we were talking about WAP, for example. Like I'm
Hmm.
sure you don't have an issue with the song, but the fact that it's like something presented to a kid in a specific way, maybe
Mm.
she'll get like a certain idea about sexuality if that's like the only like impression she has or the first
Yeah.
impression she has.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Like I hear that too, but I'm also like I don't get offended a lot by what people say. And it's weird because I know a lot of people do, obviously, because it's all over the internet how people feel, right, about what's going on. And like, I'm personally not offended by a lot of the things he say. Like you said, I don't agree with everything that he says, but someone who has a mental illness is probably not going to say things correct all the time. And someone who is in the limelight is probably tired of saying things and worrying about saying things right all the time, you know? And for me, shit, like, I don't say things right all the time, and I'm not even in the limelight, and I'm already casted to the wayside a lot by folks quickly because I'm honest. I say what's on my mind. I say how I feel, and in those moments, I know I probably could have said something differently. I probably could have said something, um, kinder or something like that. And I know, and so and I take that moment and I hold on to it and I improve. I try to improve for the next time. And that's something that I do as a person who knows absolutely I don't always say the right thing. Um, but
I
like
feel like there's a
I
go
also
ahead.
don't care. Like I come from this side that, like, I don't care
What are we talking
also
about? I
what I
just got
say.
here.
I just want to
Oh,
be
let's fill in Chelsea really
honest
quick.
and
Yeah.
free. Hey, Jose.
Yeah.
Hey, Chelsea. Is it
What's up?
Chelsea?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm
What's up?
Ashley. Nice to meet you.
What is it?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I
Let me
could.
turn
But
it
what
on.
did you say your name is?
Ashley.
Oh, Ashley. Ashley. Oh, what's up? Hi. But what
Hey.
is the topic you guys are specifically talking about right now?
Right now, we're talking about people in the public eye, especially Kanye,
Mm-hmm.
and how like the way you present information in the public eye can like influence other people. So like we were talking about, like sometimes I know what you mean, but like the way you presented that information, I don't agree with.
Uh-huh. Uh, I would say I've been thinking about and talking about this topic with my wife a lot. And I think, and then I talked to somebody that is like from Chicago, like in those, like, kind of like really looks up to this person, blah, blah, blah. And, they just say it's all marketing. So, like, to me, if that's what your whole life is about, marketing, that's cool. Like, I think we all don't know these people, so we just really can't say anything because we don't know. And I think it
Mm.
is sad that men get to just revamp themselves time and time again with
Mm.
pretty much no consequences. That's pretty much it.
No, I feel that. That ain't that the truth. Like, we get dragged through the mud, right? But
Yeah, I mean, like I
men
feel like,
do get to
oh,
use it to their favor at times.
Yeah. If you come out tomorrow and say you're crazy, people are gonna be like, I can't fuck with her, she's crazy. If a dude comes out with it, they're gonna be like, I don't mean crazy, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, as far as the media and sensationalizing stuff. But it's
What's
sad,
up,
but I think
Lewis?
we're getting progress because young people just are like more compassionate because they just see more stuff. I feel like I don't mean more compassionate. I just mean like they just see more stuff because they grew up on the whole ass internet. So I don't know.
well, also
Yeah.
like the shock factor, like you were talking about, like the marketing and like the publicity part of it. It's like you get people talking, and any publicity can be good publicity if you're just getting your name out there sometimes. Because like
Yeah.
if you do something super well, like as long as your name is getting out there, people will check you out, no matter
Hmm.
like what
Yeah.
That's
kind of
true.
stuff you're saying. It's
And I'm
crazy
not
enough.
saying that everything is made to be that way. I'm just saying like maybe his publicist or people's publicists, a thing happens. Okay, this is how we could spin it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that
Mm.
necessarily everything is a created thing, but that they use it in this way. So I don't know.
Like any kind of like paparazzi interviews or whatever. It's like, oh, guess what? They said this, but they
Hmm.
actually like said it like this. But you get like
Exactly.
one little clip of it instead of the full
Yeah.
thing.
And
Yeah.
it's so hard. I have a 6-year-old sister, and sometimes I'm thinking like, oh my goodness, like how am I gonna teach her how to discern information? Like
Mm.
how?
Mm.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh,
How?
yeah. Ashley's a mom too, so you have yeah.
I'm just like, what? But
Honestly, the fact that you're saying that, it kind of makes me think about, like, some of the moments I was crying this week. Uh,
tell me.
I literally I went to an event, and, I was meeting people, And one person was like really kind and was like, I love your stuff. Like, oh my God. And he quickly asked me, I wonder if you're going to have a stage name. And I was like, wait, I thought about that too much last year, and I stopped thinking about it because it doesn't freaking matter. I'm not on a stage and right last year, right? And I'm not, and now I feel like I'm getting closer. And I had these moments where like, okay, I'm thinking about my spirituality and I'm thinking about marketing. I'm like, maybe I should call myself Crybaby because I'm literally always fucking crying. Like, why
I kind of like
I
that,
should
I'll
lean
be
in.
honest.
I gotta lean into it, right? But literally, these are the things that we're thinking about because it's like, guarantee you, I'm in an interview and somebody pokes at like a heartstring, something that just like, right? Oh, tears are running. Like this, tears are not gonna stop running. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
Hmm.
same.
if I talk about anything tough, you know, that really just like comes from my heart of hearts, my
Just
soul of
stop being
souls.
so emotional. What are you doing? It's like, no, I
I
can't.
remember working in corporate and just like being
Oh,
brought down to get yelled at by, you know, what do we call those people who work in corporate? HR, right? And they wanted to tell me like I did something wrong. And I remember just like sitting down in the chair, just like already crying. I don't even know what I did at this point. I just know that I'm in trouble because like I'm here at HR and I don't know what I did.
mm,
And you know, that's one example, but just thinking about like getting back into music after taking God knows how many years off, right? And just looking for like a community that I could jump into and just like start somewhere, right? And I'm already emotional just thinking about it. Like I honestly, so and when I think about finding these communities and um being my authentic self because I can't help it. I'm always going to be Ash. Like there's just like no way around it. And just feeling not accepted in these communities that are like, come on in, like you're welcome, but like there's already a line created from the people who are at the top of these communities versus these, you know, the little people who are just like popping in and saying, hey, I'm here, like what do
Hmm.
I do? I don't know anything, right? And
Hmm.
because I don't know anything and because I'm just getting started and because I didn't have songs out yet, like I just didn't feel accepted.
especially as a
Yeah.
woman too, you know.
And it's just like, well, aren't these communities being built for us, like for the people who are like the 99%? Like why do I already feel, you know, at the low end of the totem pole
Yeah.
when I shouldn't feel that way? Like this is why I'm here in the first place. This is why I'm knocking on your door in the first place. So that's why I was like, I gotta have this moniker Crybaby because like I cry about everything and I'm gonna have to lean into that shit or people are gonna be making fun of me about it.
Mm. I really feel you on that. When I was young, I was always crying, and people always told me to stop crying. I'm like a cancer or whatever, and I'm like, I'm just gonna say real stuff. I'm sorry for making everybody feel uncomfortable, but I just have to say it. And I feel like if you just keep putting your stuff out there, then you will keep finding your real true community within those communities.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That is
That's
fact.
exactly what I was thinking too. I
That is
mean,
fact.
like you're gonna have like it's like going to school again, right? Like in high
Uh,
school, it's like that's your community, but like you find like your friend group, you find like your people, and I don't know about you guys, but I've never been the kind of person that like stuck to like one friend group. So
mm-hmm.
like I felt like um when I find my people, it's like random people, like random like individuals, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally feel that.
So
I
forming a
moved a lot.
community. Oh, sorry. Say that again.
Oh, I was just saying, I feel you on that. I also moved a lot. I saw the same thing.
Moving a lot, it really makes you start from the ground zero again. Like I haven't moved a lot. I've moved 3 times in 3 decades. That's not a lot. But when you move away from whatever you just built, you got to start all over again.
hmm But now I can do
Yeah.
that anywhere.
You can
So
what?
I said now I could do that anywhere though.
Yeah.
I could go anywhere I feel like and do my thing because I had to like just go through it and cry a lot, but hey, I still was going forward crying. I was listening to this podcast and they said they told their little kid was playing soccer and they just like something happened, they just like cried. They were like 6 and they're just like on the ground, like, oh my God, crying. They say, hey, you could totally cry, but you have to cry and just keep playing because it's like a game. So just keep crying and or run off the thing, but you can't just lay on the ground and cry in the middle of the game. And the game is life, you
I
know?
love that.
That
I
podcast is
actually,
really good, honestly. It's called We Can Do Hard Things. I would recommend it. My
Well, we
wait,
mom
sure
what's it
used to
called?
can.
listen to it. It's called We Can Do Hard Things. hmm
We Can Do Hard
It's
Things.
like a
Okay, I can
top
put that in the
podcast
chat.
right now on Spotify, actually.
Oh,
Oh, I
sick.
love
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Women led, yep.
I'm gonna pin that in the chat because I need to remember that.
hmm
Dude,
I'm
okay.
telling you, it's really good. My
I'll
mom is the
definitely check that
person who
out.
told me about it. So it's a good mom recommendation.
Yeah. Aubrey's
You,
got this long paragraph in here talking about he's got mental issues and he's dealing with the separation of his wife. So he's using all the negative energy to bring more followers to his brand and his vision on his journey. Um,
okay. Well, I guess that's
yeah, I
that
Sorry,
is
that
what
was
is
and
happening.
connection is cutting out.
it's okay. I mean, obviously, divorce is not easy, but yeah, to do that in the limelight, I think it makes it tremendously tenfold. But then at the same time, I don't know. I've never been divorced, so it could feel very hard to do that alone. Because
But I just feel like every time when people say alone, it's like, but is he alone?
no, he's not alone.
So what do
Yeah,
you mean
he's not alone.
alone? I don't mean you, but I'm just saying when people say that, like, what do you mean alone? Like he's good. He's super rich. He has everything good. He has food.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
knows a therapist. He can go to one. He's fine. He's a grown man. He's got this. I believe in you, Kanye.
No, I definitely.
I don't know. I've in the past 2 months, I don't
Sleep
know
for a
if this
second.
is on topic, but I feel like they were artists, so I feel like this is on topic. Yeah, and they were, and we're not talking about artists, we're talking about art as spirituality and just like creating, right? And 2 different women I've talked to, they have been like separated from their partners recently, and they're both, I've talked to them, they don't know each other, they're like, I don't know what to do like now. Like I want to do art, but I don't know how, and like that's why art is important because like maybe she gonna become a lawyer or whatever, but he needs to just focus on his art. You know what I'm saying? Like she's focusing on being a lawyer, he's focusing on his art, but we don't need to know it here with the text messages.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm a little high too, so
Oh my,
All good.
all good in the hood. Yeah.
But just right
I
now.
mean,
Oh,
I
go
feel
ahead.
like, oh, I was gonna say, like a lot about art is about your internal journey. I feel like similar to spirituality, it's like kind of like getting to know yourself
That's the
and
first line on my paper. It says getting to know yourself.
oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I'll show you.
I mean,
How do I
I
do it?
mean, that's like part of the reason why I started this conversation.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people want to like express themselves more. And I
hmm
know a lot of people who like want to be more creative, but they don't know why because they're like, I'm not an artist. But I feel like everyone is creative, but everyone should like be artistic in some way because you get to know yourself by expressing yourself.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot of people also they feel intimidated in like the spaces like you're saying with the community thing in different spaces, or maybe they want to do a poem but like they're like I can't go to open mic, or maybe they want to be an artist but whatever, they're intimidated about it. But it's like sometimes you just got to do it by yourself, for a
Yeah.
long time and just really be consistent at it, and then that's how you like build that confidence. It seems like duh, but it's like no, you just really have to commit to it. Like literally set a timer, like time to make art.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's really helping me this past year. Like I've been making a game plan, and I've been like calling it a game plan because I'm like an athlete and stuff. And like every time the to-do list is just giving me anxiety, so I was like, this is the
Oh my
game plan
God.
for the day. You feel
I could
me?
totally relate to that. The to-do
So
list.
Now I'm like, this is the game plan, and what I do is I mention like what it is, and then I say how long it is going to take, or like it should take, and then I put like a little checkbox next to it, so that like on the reminders or whatever. But then I like physically when I'm done, I like check it off, and then I feel better because I was like I see that I did stuff instead of just kind of like I'm doing everything at once. But yeah,
I feel like the whole getting to know you thing that you mentioned, I've been doing that a lot these last couple years of my
yeah.
life, and I feel like the more I get to know myself, the more bullshit I cannot deal with. Like I have a low tolerance level for people's
Yeah.
bullshit
That's what
or
people say
bullshit
about
in
getting
Mm-hmm.
older
general.
too, you know? We're just like,
Oh
no.
shit. I'm just like, I don't have time for this. Okay. Uh,
I mean, I feel you on that. Like, the more you get to know yourself, the less you can deal with. But that was actually like a thing in the Bible too. Like,
mm,
I was studying this during quarantine, and I forgot like what passage this is or whatever, but I always come back to it. They said that when Jesus realized that he was the Son of God, then he wasn't able to connect with his old friends the same way anymore. When
mm,
he acknowledged his divinity and got to know himself, then he could not speak the same language as the other people around him anymore.
mm.
And I felt that because, like, when you get to know yourself, that's when you start to acknowledge your divinity more.
Mm.
So when, Jesus stopped speaking the same language as the people around him, I remember very specifically, I was in quarantine at a friend's house, and their family is very, like, big on being humble.
Uh-huh. I don't know why I'm saying
Oh,
that.
don't
and
get me started on this humble word. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
and their family was very big on being humble, right? And like, I consider myself a very friendly person, and I consider myself to be humble, but like they have a different definition of humble. It's like you should not, it felt like I couldn't like take pride in my work. Like I wasn't even saying like, oh, I'm the best. I was just like, hey, I'm proud of this, would you mind like looking at this? um, and they were like, "Oh, I hate you," or not like literally, but
Ew,
like
that's
they
so
were like, "I don't
weird.
want to see this."
So
Um,
weird.
yeah, or like a lot of people like to project their insecurities onto other people. So I feel like when you show that like you're comfortable with yourself, as a lot of artists have had to do, we've
Yeah.
had to become comfortable with ourselves. Then I feel like they want to project their insecurities because, like, I think they either don't want to do the internal work, and not doing the internal work generates insecurities, while doing the internal work generates confidence. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I tell people about themselves. I'm like, oh, maybe you haven't heard this. Let me give you a little chance because, like, also when I say tell people about themselves, I don't even mean that in a mean way. I feel like killing with kindness things, sometimes people need to, like, just really hear some real shit. Like, they're trying to, yeah, you, like you're saying, you're being confident. Oh, I'm making music. They're like, oh, my music is like, it's not even good. Oh, no, don't say that about yourself, bro. Your music's probably really good, or like just bigging them up because I work in customer service. I was barista for so long, and people really tell you like so much of their personal life. You'd be like, damn, that's crazy. You just told me that. I don't even know you. But it's like always on some negative stuff when I did say some positive, confident stuff like you're saying. So I think that's pretty interesting that you say that.
Well, that's what I did when I first popped into the chat.
Oh, what did you say?
You missed it. I was telling
Oh,
about like, how I was raised one way and like I never felt like I belonged to that community. And I
mm-hmm.
always felt like, hey, Solo, I always felt just disconnected and I never could explain it. And finally, Facebook it had explained it for me when I turned 20 and my family from this side I didn't know exist found me. It was like, hey, I'm your real dad. Hey, I'm your real brother. Hey, I'm your real sister. Oh
Hell
yeah.
yeah. Oh man,
Which,
congrats
you
on
know,
that.
could be seen as a negative thing, right? But I don't feel that way about it. I don't
What
feel any
happened?
negative ways about it. Yeah, I have no feelings of negativity about it, except for that one moment when I found out
Mm.
that it was like a family secret. I've moved on so far past that though. Now I'm like, oh, that's just my life, and
Mhm.
let's keep it moving.
Is it hard to not think about different stuff when you think about, oh, this happened back in the day, oh, but they weren't, oh, that's why? Or not hard, is it like interesting and like relevating to think of different instances when you're like, oh, well, this has happened back in those days, like, oh, when I was young, but they didn't accept that? Well, that's because I wasn't really like, they didn't want to. Like, does that feel good or bad? How do you feel
So
about that?
when people ask me about stuff like from the past, I
You
don't
just don't,
know
you
what.
know,
I literally don't have like
feelings about it?
vivid memories
Oh, yeah.
of the past. Besides, like my teacher, Mrs. Copa,
Mm.
she was evil, the evil
Oh, wait.
witch, sixth
I was
grade
like,
teacher,
yeah.
Mrs.
Oh,
She was terrible. She was so mean. She had these long nails. And like, you know, other little things. You know, I
good.
remember, you know, going to Florida to visit like, you know, family. I don't really remember birthdays. I remember being terrified at Chuck E. Cheese during my birthday.
That's interesting.
But I don't have these like super vivid memories growing up. So no, the one thing that I do have a vivid memory of is my cousin from Hoboken was visiting me in Lodi, and we were hanging out in the basement, and we were just watching TV. We were maybe like 12, 13,
Uh-huh.
you know, somewhere around there. And I had a mirror in my hand. I remember looking in this mirror and going like, man, like I look Latina, huh?
Hey.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Cause, and maybe I said that, and maybe I knew of Latinas because I grew up around Latinas. Like I had like Puerto Rican friends, Ecuadorian friends, Colombian friends, every fucking Latin planet.
Oh, and
They were
what is
surrounding
your
me.
cousin or what is your other
My
family's background?
cousin is Puerto Rican
Oh, okay, okay.
and black,
Mm-hmm.
or Dominican and black.
Oh, and so
I'm not
your real
remembering right
dad
now.
is of a different race than from your other family?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, got you. Or like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
damn,
yeah,
that's
you know,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. Um, I just remember saying that to myself, and that's the one moment I remember, like, you know, having these conflicting thoughts about who I was, but
Mm-hmm.
that's about it.
There's gonna be some therapist that's gonna open you up, girl.
They've
They're gonna be
laughing
like,
my
oh
ass out. She
shit,
was out to get you. Who was out to get me?
the
Who's Shola
teacher. I
talking
think he
about?
was talking about the teacher lady.
Oh yeah, no. I was a badass little kid. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I had my problems, but she was something
Mm.
else, Mrs. Copa.
What kind of I didn't check out your music yet, Rose. What kind of music do you do?
I started off as a jazz singer, and then
Oh,
I became more into writing punk music,
mm-hmm.
and then I did R&B, and right now I'm doing kind of like a little bit of R&B, soul, and like rap and stuff like that. It's kind of all over the
And
place.
jazz is like, you know, the best place to start. Like, you know, that's how we get there. Because if you never listen to jazz, you can't get that improvisation that is the modernness of today. I feel like.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say
Yes.
not, but I'm saying you have to be really just in your room practicing and making up new shit. And I've never listened to nothing, but everybody, what, you don't listen to Kendrick Lamar? Oh, because that's jazz. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's dope. And like
Yeah.
look, Amy Winehouse, like she went to school for like jazz, and then who did she have on her last albums? You know, fucking Nas and like Salam Remy and shit. Like,
Right.
yes, I love that.
I mean, like, that's like the root of a lot of music. So it's kind of cool to go in order, you know? Like,
Mhm,
build like the foundation up first, then go into other genres.
mhm.
I'm
And
sorry, I'm
how
like trying to find a spot that's like not,
turning you
you
up?
know, with a bunch of cars
Yeah.
and not super in the sun. Yeah.
What's it called? I was gonna say, yeah, I forgot. Oh, I was gonna say, I had written down, and that made me think of it about the spirituality thing, about freestyling, about jazz and improv and stuff like that. Like being just like having no critique of yourself and just doing it. Like that is so scary, but at the same time, like damn, that like that saved my life. I feel like being able to freestyle and just like say stuff, and like especially if it's not recorded, you're just like doing it or whatever. But and I feel like sometimes journaling, people like just journal. It's like that's like overwhelming sometimes to just like really put it to plain ass words. Like I feel terrible right now, you know. But like to write about it, it's just gotta like or paint about it, like paint some sad face or whatever. Like you know, that's like a little more accessible sometimes for some people.
It's also just like a good way of getting it out like subconsciously, because like sometimes when I write stuff down, I can overthink it. But if
Yeah,
I'm freestyling
I'm
or if
not
I'm
like that.
improvising, it just kind of comes
I'll just
out.
hold the pen and be like, I can't write it till it's perfect. And that's not ever gonna happen. For real.
Yeah.
When I
Oh,
was 18, I was like, I'm so good at this. And then I don't know what happened. Why is that? Well, everybody has their own journey, you know. I think it's because I was playing sports, so I was geeked up on the adrenaline of like sports. I was like, yeah, I could rap.
Yeah.
I could definitely rap. I don't
do you
know.
feel like the competition in sports and competition in music is kind of similar?
Um, I've been thinking about that a lot lately and being like, am I being too competitive or I don't know, or not competitive enough? Is it similar though? I think a lot of people do not think themselves to be competitive, but realistically, if you're in like for real music business, it's business and you have to compete against your competition, you know, so you have to be. So I think it is hella similar, especially in our culture, because I mean like, you know, like NBA, like NFL, it's like everything of our culture,
Yeah.
even if you don't
Mm.
care about it, you like see it and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to be so into professional sports, you know, in my like early 20s, but then I just just unlearning like all this toxic masculinity shit in my life. I'm just like it's just too much. And then especially like meeting like my sister, she went to a university in Nevada. She played basketball there, so she used to be friends with Colin Kaepernick. And just seeing his journey and how he like it's like I just can't just watch this shit no more, man. This shit is weird. And I'm happy for people who are making their money and who change their lives by playing it, but it's just like it's really hard on your body. Like my knees hurt, and I only played 2 years of college, so that's just like it's like a lot. Professional sports and music, so I feel it is kind of similar because sometimes in music you just do so much. You're trying to like, yeah, I practice every day, like 8 hours or whatever. Like that's cool, like you know that's cool. But in music, people are like, I was up in the studio all night, I didn't even sleep. Like I mean, I guess that's cool, but like
I think that's the silliest badge ever, by
that's
the
what I'm
way.
saying. Like that competitiveness, I used to be like,
Okay.
look how much weed I'm smoking in this studio, and like I'm like, that's so stupid.
I'm like,
Why
I'm gonna
was
treat
I
that
doing
shit
that?
9 to 5 like Eminem does. Someone told me Eminem treats the studio like a 9 to 5, and I was like, well, golly, damn it, that's gonna be me.
Yeah, man, I really gotta start doing regular studio time because I finally have like
Don't be
a
trying to
setup at
get
my
me in the studio at
house.
9 o'clock at night. No.
I can't. Oh no, I can't no more. I'm
I'm so
done.
tired. I'll be like,
My phone's dying.
I start my days
It
early
takes
as
a
hell. I
toll on
got
your
kids
body
that
for
run
sure.
ragged. Yeah.
At
Yeah.
the open mic thing with
Okay.
hard drive the other day, I was like,
Can we talk about like toxic masculinity for a second with that?
oh,
Because I feel like there's definitely toxic masculinity in like both senses of those kinds of competition. Like
mm-hmm,
there's like toxic femininity when it comes to some things, like doubting yourself is toxic femininity, I feel
Yeah.
like. But
mm,
toxic masculinity comes in the form of like unhealthy competition, especially like in women. Like, you know, those girls who say like, I don't hang out with other girls because other girls are dramatic. Like that's like a form of toxic masculinity in
That's
women.
I have said that. Like I'm so guilty, but I don't generally hang out with
Mhm.
nobody. So so just male and female. I don't know. I guess I both.
I don't hang out with any
Like you
gender
gotta
people.
prove you're drama free for me to hang out with you. Like fuck that.
Uh,
Yes,
that's
yes.
interesting you say that because that podcast I was telling you about, they had a whole episode on that and about like people saying that about how it is toxic, whatever. And they said what they kind of summed it up to be is like the reason why women are being all competitive is because they're trying to get to a seat at these tables of these patriarchal masculine spaces. You know, like Nicki Minaj is the only girl on Young Money, right? So of course she's gonna be coming for every single female artist, like fuck you, bitch, blah blah blah, man. You know, like she didn't have to do that. She didn't have to. It was what she did, but she didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's
Mm-hmm.
that we're trying to all compete for a space. Just like when I feel like in the gay community, people always do that shit too. It's like they're trying to be the best gay person there, like that token thing. It's just like
I'm
that
a gold star
competitive.
lesbian. Yeah.
Oh,
Is that a term?
congratulations! Oh yeah,
That's
that's
not a
a
term,
super
is
Yeah,
it?
a
term.
gold star means like you've only been with women, you've never dated a man, never been with a man.
That's a serious
Yeah.
term. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I really haven't really connected with the LGBTQIA community in like the past like 5 6 years, because it's just like they're just starting to be, I'm not gonna say they are starting to be, but a lot of
Some of
spaces,
the
some of
individuals.
the spaces are starting to be just the same mirror thing of the other thing. Like, like for so long I was like, I'm super a lesbian, blah, blah. I don't think I am. I think I'm like bisexual. I think I'm just like a person who likes other people
Mhm.
sometimes, and penetration inside the thing that was made for it. Oh, mind blowing. Like, can you believe it? But I
That's
feel like
real. That is real.
a lot of like, yeah, a lot. And like, I don't even really like all these men who are saying certain things, because like I said, they could just say controversial things and get away with it. But it is true, like the things Dave Chappelle was going to say, blah blah blah. Like, this thing is getting more attention. Like, being gay is getting more attention than so many other causes. And I don't mean being gay, but I just mean like the like forward, like the like, honestly, it's just like the white male gayness. They're like, hey, we want rights, and everybody's like, oh, you want rights? You got it. So this is weird. I don't remember what we were talking about, but damn, isn't that weird?
You're funny.
Wait,
uh,
hold on. Can we talk about internal versus external power really quickly? Because, like, there's like a couple of things I was thinking about when you were talking, but one
mm-hmm,
of the biggest ones was about how, like, there can be the power that, like, you have developed for yourself, and that's internal power. And then there's, like, the kind of power where you rely on proximity to power for your power, but
mm,
you don't actually have that internal power. You're
mm.
just relying on that proximity to power. Like, for
Interesting.
me, mm,
Go
like
ahead,
for
go
me,
ahead.
for example, oh, I'm sorry, this is like not good connection. Okay. But there's like, for me, for example, I am first of all, I'm gay, but like I'm straight passing, but like I'm also like what you would call like a conventionally attractive white woman in like this society, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. So, like I might not see myself that way, but that's like what my identity is labeled as. But there's like a type of internal power that you can develop if you are me when it comes to like getting to know yourself and stuff. And then there's a type of external power where I can rely on the power that I have in proximity to other higher types of power in this society. So like for the like lesbian community, for example, like I used to get really mad at like straight girls who would pretend to be like bi or whatever because like it was more attracted to men, you know? It was like if you're gonna say that you're like a straight girl, then you can say you're a straight girl. Like I know straight girls who've been in three ways and it's not an issue. I just don't understand like why there's like this like proximity or like it's like more appealing to say like you're a bisexual girl.
I
Like I
don't
never really
even
understood
know
that.
why anyone thinks that over sexualizing yourself is a way to like be cool. Like I
Unless they want to.
remember doing this type of behavior in high school, and I think about it now and I'm like, why did I do that? Like, and it's so weird and it's so like gross and uncomfortable, and now I'm just like, when I hear people do it, it's almost cringeworthy. It's like, what's your point? Like, I've heard people say that, what you're just saying, like out at a party, like, what are you trying to do? Like, what's happening right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like seriously, like we've gotten to a place in, well, we've been at and we still are at a place where just like over sexualization is the way to be cool, and I'm just like so over that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so over it. And all these freaking fast fashion brands are just like are just perpetuating it. Like all you see is little skirts and basically no one's wearing nothing. And hey, like that's cool. Like if that's what you want to do, but like I have a feeling if like we made oversized like shirts cool, that would be the thing.
They
Any,
are.
you know what I mean? Like
Oversized shirts
whatever
are
you
cool.
make cool as a society, that's what people tend to like lean towards. And it's like this whole over sexualization everywhere you look. Um, dude, it's crazy to me. It's like sometimes I'm looking at myself and I'm like, I'm never gonna be that artist. Does that mean I'm not gonna be successful?
Look at Mickey
Like I've had
Psycho.
those thoughts, you know?
No.
Mm-hmm. I've
Mm-mm.
had the exact same thought. Like I was saying this like just yesterday. Like I don't even want my face to be on a lot of stuff because I love doing photo shoots, don't get me wrong. But I don't like putting myself out there like that. I don't want to like use sex to sell my music because my music isn't even about sex a lot of the time.
That's
So
facts,
why would I
yeah.
use that as a sales tactic?
Mm-hmm.
But sex does sell, so I can understand it. It just seems like, the combination of like living in like a capitalistic society where sex sells and it's also a patriarchal society. So like patriarchal society and capitalistic society equals more sexualization of women because sex sells.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird. Now it's just like everywhere. So now it's like it's weird to me now. It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like it's just like I'm almost like I'm desensitized to it. Now I'm just
Oh
like,
yeah.
why? Like why?
I I can see
What's
the
the point?
positive in that too, though, because so my mom is from Holland, right? She's from Europe, and so out there, it's like not as much of a big deal. But also, I feel like there's a lot less misogyny, even though the media has more sex in it. Like there are like naked women on the covers of magazines that aren't porn magazines. So like there are like, like naked women on the covers of magazines that aren't porn magazines or like fashion magazines. But I feel like it's more respectful because like it's just a body, like it's
Yeah.
just a body.
I mean,
So
I've
it's more
definitely said that
casual.
breastfeeding my children in public. And my husband's like, "Are you gonna cover yourself?" I'm like, "It's just a boob. Like everyone knows what a boob looks like."
Yeah, no, literally. Like
Like,
I think everyone should be saying titties. Maybe guys would be less like, I don't know, less insane. Maybe. I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
funny that you say that because my little sister, who I told you 6, she every other word out her mouth is booty. Why? Why? She's like booty, 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 booty. I'm like, why are you saying that? But on TV, like it's all this weird shit. Like Nickelodeon, Disney, they be on some weird shit. Like why are you showing? Like I don't know, man.
Angelica with the
I don't
love.
know.
Thanks.
I don't know.
Mhm.
But also, it's like a silly thing, and it is her. And it is like I shouldn't be shaming her because she does have a butt. She's a person. We all do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's so hard because I'm not trying to shame anybody because we also are in a revolution of people claiming their bodies who never before would do it. And I used to be like,
Yeah.
why is that girl wearing that? She shouldn't be wearing that. But it's like good for her that she feels body positive. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe I have an issue with food and my own self image, and that's why I'm so
Yeah.
concerned about what other people are doing. Actually.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
I
just
mean,
feel
I
like
think it depends. Oh, go ahead.
it's just like when you see just like all these artists who are making it mainstream and they're just like butt naked in their performances.
I mean, think about Spice Girls. People probably said the same thing about them.
I'm just like, can we do something different? I'd love to
Her,
see.
her.
I love her. Like, I love her. Like, she's playlisted, you know what I mean? Like, 'cause
Yeah,
she's talented,
yeah.
right? Not because she shows her ass and skin everywhere. Like, I just want to do something different. I want to see more
Do it, girl.
positive influences going mainstream. Like, and I'm not saying like, being half naked is not positive. I'm just saying I'm over it. Like I just want to see
The yeah.
I want to see Dear Silas like represented in the mainstream right now, like hugging ourselves. And if anyone knows who he is,
I don't
he's
know
just
what that
like
is.
this dope writer singer who just came out with like something that could be considered so cheesy and so corny, but it's catching fire and people love it. And he's got clothes
But what
on.
do you think? If you're saying like you seem geeked about that guy and like you said people love it, like what is mainstream anymore? Like it don't matter. We
Uh-huh.
can create our own universe. Like we really truly don't. Like I just got a new car for the first time that actually has like a radio and like a what's it called, air conditioning.
Congrats.
And so I had like I was playing the radio or whatever. I was like, what the fuck is this? Not in like not everything's bad, but I'm just like, wow, this is so crazy. I've never heard any of these songs ever. Ever, ever, ever.
Yeah,
Never heard
Mhm.
any of it
I've
because
been
I
there.
just
Yeah,
listen
for
to
sure.
my homies. You know, I have a whole playlist on Spotify called Homies Only. That's just only songs from my friends, and it's fucking good as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, mainstream, mainstream. 100,000 people buying a $5 product, you're rich.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's main.
that
That's
is
like the
facts.
Come
inspirational thing
on,
about like living
Main
right
Street.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
black. I'm gay. I'm a woman. I'm. Thank you for putting me here now.
The
I'm
radio
like,
is
pretty
basically
good.
I've
TikTok
made
music,
it. I'm 33. A
Angelica
lot of
says.
people think I'm younger, so I'm like, nah, I've been through it. I got outed by this lady. My fucking basketball teammate's mom outed me to my mom. My mom was gay, so like my mom was bi, so she was like, oh cool. Why would you be telling me something about my kid's sexuality? That's weird. Have a nice day. Close the door. You know, but she's like, oh, you didn't tell me you're being sexually active. That's what she was mad about or whatever. But it's just like being gay has hella changed, you know, like I'm glad I'm here for it and blah blah. But you know, damn, like it's a time to be alive. We got internet, we got TikTok, you got $5 ad on TikTok. I did one the other day. I was like, that worked pretty good. So,
Wait, a $5 ad on TikTok?
mm-hmm.
Huh.
hmm The way that you have to do, not have to do it, but the way that you do it on TikTok is they make you buy their coins or their like little like credits or whatever, and you could just buy it on your phone, Apple Pay, whatever the fuck, and then you just do the same thing Instagram, whatever day, but the reach is still organic because it's just like still new, and a lot of the
Oh,
big
dope.
super big mainstream companies they're like I'm saying all this like oh my god I'm an expert at TikTok. No, I follow Gary V online and he been saying this for hella long, you know, but I experimented and it did work. So I would recommend. I think I got like 30 new followers and like 2,000 views and like I got like 1,500 views on each video when usually I
Oh,
get
that's
like
fire.
200. You know, and that was only $5 for 2 days. If you put $50, like my friend, his name is Pretty Papes, and he has over 1 million plays on one of his songs. It's called Boomin', and he got it. They used it in like some NFL thing, like
Oh, that's fire.
yeah, like just from putting the ad on TikTok. So I would
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
that's
TikTok
fire.
is crazy.
recommend.
Like you
And
said, I was listening to Gary Vee the other day, and he
Hmm
said the exact same thing. Like, I don't even have a TikTok, but like, I need to jump on that because, like, in like Instagram, there's a certain kind of algorithm where you actually get seen by certain people. But with TikTok, it's like a 10-second video, and more people are gonna watch that.
hmm
Like Instagram Reels, I mean, YouTube Shorts. There we go. I got
hmm
like 500 views on the shorts, but I
Oh
got like
really?
maybe 25 views on the actual YouTube videos. You
mm,
know, like
I
people have
never made
like
one yet.
shorter attention spans nowadays,
yeah,
so
I hear they're
shorter videos
pushing
do
like
better.
7-second videos or less. Like that's really where
Whew,
the algorithm pushes your
7
content with
seconds.
7 seconds ish or less,
And you know that
which
shit's
is insane.
so hard. It's really, 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 really hard to make 15-second content, right?
Yeah.
And I'm lucky. I've taught myself video editing over the years, so I'm like pretty good at it. But for most people, it seems very overwhelming. And then like you have to make 7 seconds, like woo, not like
Mhm.
7 seconds. You know what I'm saying? That shit is
Yeah,
harder than it
Yeah, I
looks, for
decided
real.
I'm gonna be inspirational because I can be funny, but that's not me all the time. Like we're not one dimensional. We're very like
Mhm,
multi-dimensional people.
mhm,
Like so sometimes it's we overthink like what can I make a video on? And at the end of the day, like I've decided I just want to inspire people to feel good and to be better and to improve upon themselves every day at the rate that they can, not like some forced, unrealistic, pace. And that's just what I'm gonna do. And if I get to be funny every now and again, then I
mhm.
will, right?
It'll be
If I
natural.
get to say something that I've learned and share that with, okay, then I will, right? But we're just so multidimensional, and I think we really need to lean into that more because there'd be people out here forcing funny videos, and I'm just like, we don't all have to be funny. Like, stop.
So
Like, just
true.
be authentically your goddamn self.
It's
Like,
hard,
please.
but it's true. Hey, I'll follow your motivational page.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not a motivational page. It's just me, but
And but
like,
I mean, like,
I do really
I'll
try
follow
to
you.
just.
Mhm.
We all just like. There's so many negative things that we deal with, on our own, and I think we all know what that feels like. And I think we just need more and more and more and more positive experiences shared with everybody,
Mhm.
just to inspire people to
And
just
not
like,
just
oh,
positive ones though, the real ones.
real positive. That's
Mhm.
what I'm saying. Like, real,
Real
like,
and positive. Because
I
not
went on a
every
bike ride the other day
oh yeah.
in my community, and I was like, oh my God, it's a beautiful day. Like, I went live with it just to capture that moment because it was so beautiful. And, maybe that inspired someone to get off the couch and just
Straight
like
up.
go outside and walk down the
Yep.
freaking block,
Mm-hmm.
right? You
Mm-hmm.
don't even have to get on a bike, but I can't do it any other way. I don't know how to be
You
fake
gotta
anymore.
do it. Nope. You've
Oh,
awakened.
yeah,
You woke
that's a
now.
big
We woke
thing.
now.
I don't know how to be fake anymore. It's all over my face. Like, I'm someone that everything I feel, it's here. It's all here, It's here.
Yes, yes. No, actually, this is why I like you because, like, I relate to a lot of what you just said. Like, also like cultivating spaces where you're sharing positive experiences. I feel like that is so important because it's so easy to share like negative experiences and almost like get into a habit of trauma bonding with people.
You're
It's
right.
like you've been through this and I've been through this, so we're automatically friends, even if that person might not be good for you. So I feel like that's a trap that I got into a couple of years ago.
That's a
So coming
fact.
out of
Woo!
that and bonding over positive experiences, I would love to see more of that. I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
Like
I
being
felt
able to
that right there.
share, yeah. I mean, like you were saying, Chelsea, like sharing real experiences, 1000%, and being able to be yourself without faking like a smile, without having to fake all of this other stuff that you put on for a lot of people. But like you need both, like,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't see enough like bonding over positive experiences, I feel like,
Mm,
without it being like fake, like being like real positive, not like fake positive, because toxic positivity is a thing.
hmm.
So I would love to see like that, identifying with the positive traits in other people.
This is reminding me of like times I've been in rooms where we're listening to music and everyone starts doing this, right? Like, yeah, like, right. And I'm the one over here like this. So I don't know if I can bop my head because it doesn't feel organic. Like, that's how fucking real I am. Like, so it could, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
had to stop going to open mics for that very reason.
dude, like, why are we bopping our heads? This is fucking garbage. Let's tell this person that this is garbage so they could get better.
No, 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 no. You have to
We
give
need
them
them to
a
get
chance.
better.
But see, I feel like I used to host the open mic, and I had to like, I'd be like, coming to the stage, this person, I would just walk out of the room because I'm like, I can't stand there. And if they look at me, I'm gonna be like, I can't. But at the same time, we have to be mindful of what if that was us, Would we want that,
No, I get it.
you
But
know?
that's why I'm not gonna react,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, I'm not gonna say like,
Nothing.
right?
There's
Like, I'm not
nothing.
gonna look like deer in the headlights, but I'm just, like, I'm just gonna stay quiet and you hope nobody notices like my reaction. No, I hate. There's a lot of like, I know art's subjective, and hey, I've already accepted the fact that not everybody's gonna like my music,
Mm.
and I'm okay with that. But I also want to know in that moment, if you don't like my music, tell me why. I really want to know why.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I don't know why, how can I create and get better?
Mm-hmm.
Even if like
Mhm.
it's not that I want to validate everybody because maybe my music is just not their type of music. Maybe they like heavy fucking metal.
But they could just
But
say
if you're
that.
an R&B enthusiast, if you're an R&B enthusiast and you're like, I don't know, Ash, tell me what's up. Like, tell me what's up. I'll take those notes. I'll take it with a grain of salt. But that experience for me is only going to make me better. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm always the one, like, what do you really think?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And
Hmm.
now I've stopped asking people because you either going to tell me you're not, I'm not going to ask for your opinion anymore. Because I'm so confident in what I'm doing and I know that I'm only going to get better.
Period.
That whatever you said doesn't really matter anymore to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just at this, like, weird, like, I've only been doing music for 13 months. And I'll tell you, those first 12 fucking months were crazy. And it was a wild ride. And I learned so much so fast
Mm-hmm.
that, like, this next year, I know I'm already, like, I've changed and adjusted to how I'm going to move forward in the next year. And that's the only thing that I can hope for everyone else who's doing something and that they're passionate about, is that they're just trying to get better and they're being honest.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Hmm.
like, and they're trying their absolute best. Like, that's all. Like, what else can we do, right?
Right. Right. I mean, like one thing you said I really resonated with, like talking about like lying about like who like what you're doing, because I feel like when you lie to yourself and you start faking it, then you start to like forget who you are after a certain amount of time, because like when you start faking it to other people, sometimes you're not seeing it yourself. Like I know for me anyway, if I fake it for too long, I'll start to believe it, and that can be a very good thing or it can be a very bad thing, because
Mm.
like I'm not like actually paying attention to myself. I have to like ground myself, like meditate or like I don't know, like do something artistic sometimes to like get back into like myself instead of like this mask. Because when you put on the mask for too long, you believe it. So I have to like ground myself sometimes to remember that. And that's like part of sharing like real stuff, like you said, Chelsea.
That's how I feel about when I used to, like, I really don't, I really mostly listen to my friends' music because I feel like I'm okay being influenced by them, but I just don't want to be influenced by like too many, like, first of all, like artists who I just really don't agree with the stuff they say in their music. But then in addition, like, we're finding out more about the people because of social media. Like, I don't agree with that shit either, you know? So it's like, I think I agree with you. Sometimes I would be like, especially for rap, like it's so easy to just be emulating a person that you saw, or like, oh, okay, like this is the persona that I'm coming off for, but it's like, is that really you? Like saying that, like, I just do not cut. Like I do cuss in my music. I'm not gonna say I don't cuss, but I don't say bitch or hoe or slut, nothing like that, because it's just like I just can't hear that. Like my old tracks, I deleted them. I deleted them. Like I didn't delete them off my hard drive, but I deleted them off the internet because I'm just like, I just can't have that representing me no more. Like that's just really not who I
Mm.
am. Like it's just not really, I don't want my little sister to hear that and be like, yep, I'm gonna say that. I just can't even understand how people be like, I just want to thank God and my family for this Grammy of the track. I killed your grandmother and then I burned her body up. Like what the fuck?
Oh my
Like,
God, I
could
can't.
you tell me
It's
about
the
the
irony in it,
backstory or something? That's my story. Did you really do that? That's fucking crazy, dog. Okay. Like, like I don't know. I can't be that person anymore. And I think the person who is able to do that in the most artistic best way is like people like Kendrick Lamar. Like he didn't do everything that he said. He's telling the story of his hood, but he's making that clear because he's curating his art. You feel me? Like it's not just
yeah.
random the shit that he's doing. Like he saw these things, his homies seen these things, his parents, his family saw these things. He
Mm.
saw the, you know what I'm saying? Like just because you're like in the hood doesn't mean you are killing people, but doesn't mean that you are not affected and traumatized by these things. And I think that's what a lot of male artists and young artists in general just really need to understand, how to tell a story that might not be theirs, but they can still tell it. I don't know.
Ooh, okay. You brought up an excellent point just now, and I didn't even think about this before.
Mm.
Like, there's this whole idea that with like glamour and art, it's
Mhm.
about what's aspirational for you. It's
Mhm.
like, what are you like yearning for, or like, what are like you trying to become, right?
Mhm.
So I feel like when it comes to that kind of rap and that kind of mentality, it's like this idea, like this glamour for like men, especially to be perceived as manly and to be perceived as tough,
Yeah.
because no man wants to be seen as like that sensitive, weak dude over there,
Uh
you
huh.
know? So I feel like that
Sadly,
might
because
be
if
why
you
a
are
lot of
that guy,
rappers are
holler
like,
at me. Sorry.
huh?
I said my bad. I said, except I do like that. So if you're like that, holler at me.
I'm with you on that. Honestly, okay, I don't even understand this, but like a couple of years ago, this one dude that was like an acquaintance of mine, he approached me and he said, "Why do you hang out with so many feminine dudes?" And like I had never thought about that way. But like a lot of my friends are artists and like more feminine dudes, I
They just
guess.
like rubbing lotion on each other, nigga. What the fuck? You're missing it.
Or braiding each other's hair, or painting each other's nails. Like a lot of them are
Damn.
like gay dudes or skater boys. So that is big facts. I'm not even gonna lie
That's
about
funny.
that.
That's so funny.
But
But what were you saying? You were saying, oh yeah, just like they're trying to emulate and be seen as this manly like thing, and it's like, well, I'm not trying to make them feel bad because they want to be rich, like, or want to have things or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know. It's a thin
You
line.
know, to piggy on what you're saying right now, I just heard someone, I don't remember who was saying this. It might even be a lyric in her song, or maybe it was an interview. She was like, what I read in my songs is basically like a manifestation of what I want to see happen. So these things weren't really happening for her yet, but like she was writing for them so that they, she could work towards that. And I was like, oh, that was a perspective I'd never heard before. You know what I mean? Like she's talking about buying Louis bags and like all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, I mean, if you put it that way, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like
Um,
little baby Tate. Like I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich, I am that bitch. Yeah, it's a
yeah.
manifestation.
And the kids are
And I
learning
was like,
about these
that's
things
cool.
earlier than we were, you know? They're learning about this.
Mm-hmm.
They heard about this shit on YouTube. They just saw some random YouTube, some random TikTok, and now they're like, "Oh shit, what?"
Mm-hmm.
I
You can
didn't know you could
create
do
a whole
that.
new mentality.
I didn't
You can
know.
like rewire your brain.
I
What?
was
This is
in the
crazy.
shower. I was in the shower this morning thinking about writing because I'm working on writing a book. And I was thinking about this English teacher. I was like, when did I start writing and be like really getting into writing and poetry? And I was thinking about, I had this teacher and it was in high school. He was like an old white man. I think maybe he was Jewish. His name was like Wallach. I think that's like a Jewish name. But anyways, he was like, you can really do anything that you really put your mind
What's
to.
up, Samir?
And then he was like, I took a singing class and he had like, his voice was just not sexy. Okay. Let's just say that. He just did not have a sexy voice. That's fine. But he's like, I took singing lessons and watch this. And then he sang a thing, sounded hella good. We're like, oh shit. So good. He's like, yeah, but I can't do that for a long time. I can't make up the lyrics, but I wanted to learn how to sing. I learned how to sing. You can do anything you're doing. And the answer to it is probably in a book. And I was like, you feel me?
That's a
Right?
good
Yeah.
man.
I
That's
can't.
a good man there.
And that was English class. He was just like this, like his feet were up, I'm pretty sure. He was like, I gotta hit him up. Oh please, I hope he's old then, so I don't know, but I gotta hit him up.
I feel like it's always an English teacher though. Like all the teachers I had who were my favorites, they were always English teachers.
Hmm.
Like my
I'm
high
trying to think if
school,
I had a
Thank you,
favorite
English
teacher.
teachers. My
I
other
hated all my
favorite
teachers.
English teacher was this teacher I had in Black English class in college, and she was the first person. That was the first. Yeah, she was the first person to like publish my like any of my work, and I wrote this poem, and I was like we were learning about Ebonics and Black English, and like essentially like how the created language of different people of the African diaspora. It's like it's not like some made up shit. It's like this is like a thing that people had to do and make up to survive, right? And so I made a poem about it called Ebonics, and she ended up putting it in her syllabus. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, oh shit,
That's dope.
I think I could do this. And then I started going to open mics at the school, and then I started going to this open mic every Thursday. And then I met like all my friends who I'm still friends with. Yep.
oh, that's so dope.
And she was so sexy. Oh my God. She was Puerto Rican and she always had like these colorful skirts and her hair was like, she was like a Puerto Rican Mrs. Magic School Bus. She was like that.
Oh my God, I can't. Miss Fizzle.
Oh,
Yes.
funny.
I swear. I promise.
What's up, Jeremy?
What's up, Jeremy?
I mean, that's kind of what Ashley was talking about earlier too, like finding like your community, your
Finding
creative community.
community.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to find
Yeah, you do that
community.
by expressing yourself.
You get it's confusing because you also have to decipher, like, do these people really want to be around you, or do they want something from you? Like, and like, it's, and sometimes it's both.
And then, exactly, because then you're like, wait, do I want something from them? Do I really want to be
Yeah.
around them?
Mm-hmm.
And we
And that
can't
can
be
get really
fake.
tricky.
Everybody wants something from somebody. Friendships.
How do you feel? This is making me think about this, like, this thing I always see now. And these two phrases, the first one is, yesterday's price is not the same as today's price. And the second one is, don't be, like, I don't know how they say it, but it's basically like,
Which one?
I'm only looking for relationships that add value.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those two,
You don't
like,
like it?
they rub me the wrong way.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't disagree with them, right? Because I understand that that type of mentality can work in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like, what if people don't know their value yet? So we're devaluing them before they can even get the opportunity to add their value. Like, it's crazy,
I feel like I know what you mean, and I used to be always trying to see the best in people and be like, I do see value in you. You are valuable, but it's just like you can't help people till they want to help themselves. And if you really want to be successful and you really look at the people who are successful, look at their relationships, they do only have relationships with people who are successful. And it seems cruel. It seems cruel, but it's not about that. It's about aligning with people who are in the alignment of what you are. Because they said the second thing you said was, I'm only looking for relationships of blah blah bring value, because they already have the relationships that they need for the other stuff. They already have their friends, their real friends. They do. Maybe you might become one of them, but maybe not. But why not you? But why should we take it so personally when we do not know these people? We feel like we deserve to be in their life. Like, I had to look at myself and be like, yeah, like what the fuck,
Yeah,
it's so true. Cause and also I just think that
I get that.
I think that people with the yesterday's price is not today's price. I feel that people probably need more tact in their whole business, because they probably are just scared to raise their prices or whatever. And also people feel bad because they want to people please, so they don't want to say no to people, so they just want to give them a heads up like, I'm gonna raise my prices. I feel like instead of just valuing themselves, raising the price, and if you can't afford it, you just can't afford my product right now.
You just can't afford it, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I have to do with my food.
It seems like such a braggadocious comment. It's just like ill.
Yeah.
And it's making me think of all the times where I thought that I was going to get value out of something I paid for, and I got the exact opposite. So, I was thinking, this is another thing I was thinking about, Rose. Like, everyone is selling something right now. Everyone's selling a course. You see the same, like, 15 courses, like, sold by somebody else, right? And how do you decipher which one's going to be the one that you need? You do that by trusting how you found that person or individual in the first place. And it's usually through proximity of someone who you do trust, or who does bring you value. This happened to me this last year, and the course read like, join this workshop, we're gonna make this. And for 3 days I attended this thing, and I sat there through the course, like, waiting for the moment to do that tangible, right? To execute that tangible. And someone in the seminar with me was like, are we gonna make this thing that, like, what the workshop says? Are we gonna do this tangible? Like, are we gonna have this outcome? And you can hear the person leading the course, like, talking them out of why we're maybe not gonna do it right now, because, well, you have to have a strategy. You can't just release this into the world, right? And I'm like, then why did you headline the fucking workshop to say we're gonna do X, Y, Z, in this workshop? If you're just gonna talk us out of it and just show us haphazardly the tools and talk about it, but you're not gonna actually. I was so freaking pissed. I gotta tell you, I'm so tired of these switch and baits out here. It's like I'm so tired of the switch and baits.
Maybe look for people who have offer refunds.
Yes, that's what I did with this next thing that I did. But
Mm.
it wasn't even a refund, it was a guarantee because I don't fucking want a refund. I want you to tell me, I want you to do what you're saying. You'll walk me through the process. You're going to teach me
But I think
certain tangibles.
I think sometimes what I feel like, because I feel what you've been saying this whole time, you're just a curious person, and I think the thing is that you probably already know what you're looking for with those courses. That's why they can't give you the information, because you kind of already know, and you're looking for like a more like a way to do it, and that's just not how being an entrepreneur is. And then these people were like, yes, so they're gonna help us. But it's like, if it seems too good to be true, like we've learned, it probably is.
Yeah.
You know? But some people probably got hella value from that workshop who don't know shit. Maybe.
I was gonna ask, yeah, like, what do you wish that you had gotten out of it that you didn't get out of it?
I wish that I had launched what we were going to launch. What we were like, that's
it was
what
like
I did the workshop for.
More tangible, like specific steps. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I stepped away from my phone for a second, so I heard like the last part of that. But
Just that I had like I was saying I was tired of like all these switch and baits out here. Everybody's selling something. There's a million people selling the same damn freaking course, like, and then you figure out how you gonna, which one you gonna pick, right?
right.
And you pick the one probably who is affiliated through trustworthy sources, you know, and then you go through that and you don't actually obtain the tangibles that you were looking for. Because, you know, the headlines say, you know, join this workshop and we will complete XYZ. And like, I'm like, wait, we don't complete. And in fact, like I was saying, they were talking us out of completing or doing it. And
because they want to sell you the next step.
I know. And I'm like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm so tired of these switch and baits. Like, why can't people just do what they're gonna say they're gonna do? Like, I'm just I
don't think that a lot of
for people like that anymore.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's gonna be real hard this 2022.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like a lot of people, like you said, have had like similar experiences. Like taking like an online course and like it's not exactly what I was expecting it was going to be. Because everyone is making online courses nowadays, and everyone wants to make money off of them, but they don't always put the time into their product that makes it like actually what they say it's going to be. Like, there are some courses that I've heard of from other people that they liked, but like I'll sit next to them and I didn't like it. Like you said, Chelsea, like depends on like what that individual person's gonna get out of it. I think that online courses are a really good thing. I just think they're oversaturated nowadays because everyone's doing them.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Like one thing I love that Gio talks about a lot, the producer, like he always says, like just keep doing it. Like you're not gonna learn better from anyone else. You're gonna learn best from just doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Like other people are gonna have different experiences from you. So you should like just, I don't know, do some random stuff and see how it works out.
That's for sure.
Yep, that's what I'm trying to do this next. I have so much music that I just didn't put out because I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait. Oh, this is gonna be the exact time or blah blah. But you just gotta put out some random stuff and see, because if you don't have a pool to what's it called, like a market for the market research, you ain't gonna know nothing. So true. And that's how I feel about food too. Like I've been trying to just try new stuff, like with the food, but oh man, like you said about the negative toxic positivity, I recently at the thing I asked people to write on the cards and nobody wrote anything bad. I was like, there was nothing bad. I doubt that.
Yeah, because your food is good. Like honestly, like that is some of the best mac and cheese with the mango and like the little
Wait,
details you put in there.
Yeah.
This is Chelsea Monet. Yeah.
You look familiar.
Yeah.
Are you the one in the pictures where they're serving food in the heart? Oh,
that's me.
Shit. Yes.
Uh, but dude, I had some of that mac yesterday, and I really never really had it only with the salsa. It was hella good, like with no
That
chicken
salsa.
or main
Woo.
or mushrooms or nothing. It was fire. I'd be looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
No,
that was hella
honestly,
good.
I've never had salsa like that, especially not on top of the chicken, not on top of the mac and cheese, but everything together. Whew, I want that. Like, I want that tomorrow. Like, I'm in San Diego right now, but I want that
Oh,
tomorrow.
thank
I
you,
was thinking
thank
about that
you.
this morning.
Aw, fuck
That's
yeah.
dope. How was that? How was it? The
It
camp,
was
right? You guys
pretty
were at the
cool.
camp.
Yeah, I was just there one day, so you
Oh.
probably could speak to it more, Rose. But I had a nice time. We met Meta World Peace. That was pretty cool.
Oh, did Oh, did you? He showed up.
Hmm.
He's dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that fool is hella, and he's like one of those people I probably would have been friends with. He seems so random, like like random nerd people, or like I am like a kind of like a nerdish kind of person, but like I'm cool though. That's what the whole world. That's we're moving towards that. People are just being able to be themselves more. That's what TikTok's giving us. Be yourself.
Be the main character of your own story. Be the own hero.
I know it seems scary, but like that fool Gary Vee always tells the little kids when they come up to you, hey, if you want to start a YouTube, bro, I really want you to start one, but you cannot care about the views. You just need to do it because you love doing it and you want to provide value to people. He's telling like
Yeah.
11-year-olds this. You feel me? Like I love that. I don't love that. Of course, he's a rich man. He got divorced. Now he has like a 25-year-old hot model girlfriend. But that's rich men for you.
Really?
I shouldn't be gossiping. But it's just so
It's not gossip. It's the
it's
truth.
not I know, but I don't know him, but it makes me sad. But I was thinking earlier, it's like I really love men. I do love them. People think, oh, you hate men, Chelsea. No, I don't. I just hold people that I love accountable because I'm not tolerating bullshit around in my life, and I think you can do better. If you're like, have a mental problem and you really cannot do better, sure. But like in general, like, come on, man, do better. you know? I don't know. Yeah, but
No,
yeah,
I
it's
feel
just
that.
I can't idolize. I mean, you shouldn't idolize any person, but people like he has great stuff to say. But at the end of the day, he's a man who is rich and who will do what he wants, and good for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know his story. I just keep hearing women say that their husband left them and got with a younger person. But hey, does
Oh,
it
I
I'm
mean,
happen to
actually
I
you?
seeing
feel
something
kind of,
like that.
Go ahead.
I
I guess
kind of
that's
feel
really happening.
conflicted.
Tell me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel kind of conflicted about that because on one hand, like I really don't like that a lot of older men will date younger women because they're immature themselves, and that's why they can't keep a wife, or
Hmm.
that's why like they divorce their ex-wives or whatever. Because I feel like I've heard a lot of stories from people where like the wife will put in more emotional effort than the man, because I don't think that men are trained in our society to be emotionally sensitive. And
Hmm.
that's definitely something that can be a factor in it.
Hmm.
But I've also heard stories from people talking about like how like the wife will be the one who will date a younger man, and that's what like leads the man to date a younger woman. And I think that's a more rare case for
Hmm.
sure.
So like
Um,
competing, some more competition.
Kind of, yeah. It's like I think that polyamory is more common nowadays,
Mm.
and I think that a lot of people take that as like a pathway to date younger people, who are like older.
Hmm.
So I don't have an issue with that as long as you can keep a healthy relationship. It just like really depends on how strong your marriage is at the beginning.
Hmm.
Because if you bring more people into a relationship, it's going to require a lot more communication. And if you
Hmm.
can't communicate with between two people, how are you going to communicate between three people or four people?
100%.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
maybe his wife was sick of him. I don't know. Maybe she was like, bye.
Oh my God, I don't even know.
You feel
I
me?
mean, so I used to be like really against like dating younger people when like you're way old, because I was like, oh no, you're an emotionally immature person. And I think that's true a lot of the time. But my
1000%.
definition, yeah, but my definition of relationships has changed over time. So
Hmm.
like I used to think, okay, if a man marries a much younger woman, like, and he's like super rich and she's like a gold digger, that's immoral. That, like, you shouldn't do that. I used to think that, but now I'm thinking a relationship is really just a mutually beneficial arrangement. So I feel like if it's good on both sides and both parties are happy, then you do you. Like, I used to hate shallow couples who were like, oh, I only like you for this, or like, I only like you for that. But if you're only together because you're both shallow, but you're both happy, good on you. Like, you know, I can't say shit about your happiness.
Really. And
I
we
just I
will
get
never
creeped
know.
out when it looks weird. I don't know, when they're too old and too young. I don't know, but like I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't faze me. I
As
don't say
as
anything.
long
It's none
as
of my business.
this is the line for
Mhm.
me. It's really not our business, but I don't think it's right to groom young people and then later date
Yes,
them. I don't think that's right.
grooming people is no freaking bueno.
No.
Mhm.
No.
I was in an
Yeah.
experience recently where some nigga was like trying to groom me. Like, I'm married, right? And like this is like my husband's like contact, right? And he knows we're married. And you know, we're talking or whatever. Every conversation we've had, something sexual is being brought up about it, right?
Mhm.
Um Weird. Just like weird, just why are you asking me my favorite sex position? Oh, it's for a song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then fucking like preface the conversation like that. Then like it's weird.
It's
And
super weird.
yo, like I had to kept it from my husband for like the first few weeks, but then like I started talking to my mom about it. I'm like, this nigga is weird, and you know, I had to finally come out and tell him over dinner. I was like, yo, your dude is weird. He keeps talking about like shit that's making me uncomfortable, and like I don't even want his help anymore.
Yeah. I
And the
mean,
moment that I like said, I'm not talking about this shit, unfollowed me on fucking Instagram and freaking said I'm not talking to you anymore. I'll be talking to your husband anymore. I'm like, oh well, thank
yeah.
fucking God.
Like, thank you for doing the work for me. I didn't
I
want to, like,
know.
yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
want to be a bitch, so thank you for actually removing yourself from the situation. But I feel like there's like a whole thing where people are scared to see themselves as bad people. So like if they do something or shady, or or if they say something that might be disrespectful and they don't acknowledge that or don't want to acknowledge that, there might either like try to paint you as a bad person,
Oh, he did.
or they're just gonna cut you out. Like they're
Oh,
just gonna like
both.
never want to talk to you. Yeah.
Oh, both happened. I literally
Yeah,
like
no, for real.
he's saying some weird shit that I messed up a relationship. I didn't talk to anyone. I had never had the opportunity to talk to anybody he wanted to connect me to. But
Hmm.
this was like his backhanded comment to my husband when my husband confronted him. And I'm like, wait, what did I do? Like I didn't talk to anybody yet. Like I couldn't have done anything. And I just knew in that moment, like he was totally trying to groom me. He wanted me comfortable having these awkward conversations, and I never, like, my spidey senses were just never gonna get comfortable.
Oh my lord, yeah, and no, I don't think they're even doing it consciously. It's like to them, it's just a conversation, but like it's like they're subconscious trying to say like, okay, I want her to be okay with these conversations so that I can use this like later, like you know what I'm talking about, so that I can
I
like
don't
think
know.
about this later. But yeah, actually, I used to have a friend like that. It was my friend's boyfriend, and I'm not friends with either one of them anymore because
Of
of that
course you're not.
situation.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. Like, that's like why you said, like, I have like a lower tolerance for bullshit, and I can't really hang out with people who lack a certain kind of self awareness anymore. Because, like, I mean, I'm not aware of everything that, like, is inside of me, and you're not aware of everything inside of you. But at least, like, I'm trying, and at least I'm taking accountability for the things where I might need to improve, you know? Like,
100%.
I'm okay with seeing myself as a bad person at this point because,
Yeah.
like, I'm okay with being a villain. Because, like, first of all, people have liked me for stupid reasons, and people have disliked me for stupid reasons. So
Absolutely.
at this point, it's just kind of like, okay, I can be like a million different people depending on who you are. So our relationship can depend on like the lenses that like you see through, and everyone sees through different lenses.
Hmm.
And like, I'm not gonna like take your glasses off and like throw them on the ground. That's not my job, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you think the way that you do. Like, I'm big on attracting the people that are supposed to be in your life. So as long as you focus on yourself, I think that the right people will come towards you. Like,
Yeah.
that's the simplest like way to live, and I think that's the best way to live, I think.
Mm. I feel that.
Did you want to talk about your thoughts that you had in the shower? Because you messaged me and you were like, I've had some thoughts in the shower about this, been
Oh my
talking
goodness.
about this on Clubhouse.
I feel like I did kind of run through some of them like throughout this conversation. I'm trying to think if I literally was just having a conversation with myself in the shower, and I'm trying to remember what sparked it. It might have been the whole crybaby moniker.
Mm.
Um just like feeling the need to like lean into something that I might have to address in the future, and almost priming people to not be so like, oh, here she goes again, she's crying. Because, well, I'm crybaby. Of course I'm crying,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And, I think about these times where, like, I've cried. I've just cried because I'm just an emotional person. Like, I always have been. And, when I'm really, I think I'm really more empathetic than I like to appear to people, and so I really feel people's energy.
Mm-hmm.
um I really do, like, when people are bringing like anger and negativity, like I feel that, like I almost turn into that. And
Mm.
I feel like people should be more aware of like the kind of energy they're bringing in, and if it's not being like responded to, maybe like being more aware to stop, like I don't know if that makes sense, but
It definitely
um
does.
because it's almost like an attack, or like almost like an assault, like on your soul, like, you know
Whew.
like, and to be doing that constantly all the time, why do I want to be around this person? Like, I don't.
Yes.
And I think, I don't know, I don't really remember the thoughts I was having in the shower, but like I was having like, okay, if I was going to have an episode, this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about, maybe it is self-awareness, but I know that I've thought of ideas for a podcast about blocking out the noise, because there's so many distractions in our lives, um and people just like constantly interfering your thoughts, and we need more tools and strategies to like navigate through that space, because it's really hard.
Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, I was thinking about this in the shower also, actually. So, like, I was thinking about, like, oh, okay, cool. I was thinking about how, like I used to sleep around a lot, and
Mm,
I don't believe in slut shaming at all. But
for
one
sure.
thing I found to be more conscious of is the fact that you actually do absorb people's energies when you sleep with them. So, like, I remember specifically, I hooked up with somebody, and like, I hooked up with them a couple of times, and I didn't even like them as a person.
uh
Like, And I realized that, oh, wait, why do I feel this way? It's because I'm hooking up with this person that has really whack energy that I don't even like. And I am all for sexual liberation. But for me personally, I became too sensitive to do that anymore. Like now I can't hook up with random people because I absorb that energy, like you said.
Yeah, man. That's some real shit. There's a girl, Tanaya Henry, who's a beautiful jeweler designer, based out of downtown LA, and she was like, you would think she's the most sexual person in the freaking world, right? Like she's always posting basically her ass for her work, but
Mm-hmm.
she's just like, don't be fucking everybody because you absorb those energies. And she was talking about like being celibate for like a year, I think. Um, and she's like, and watch what those people you fucking are eating. She's vegan, right? So she's extreme, right? She's vegan, she's extreme, right? But like those, I really, I was like, man, like she's really onto something. Like she should be sharing that message more. Like I'm married. I've only had sex with my husband. Like, so like I can't relate, But
Mm-hmm.
I get it. And I wish I was hearing that when I was 20,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like my life and the choices I made would have been totally different.
I agree. Yeah.
But, I didn't know her then, but I know her now. So like I think that transcends to just relationships in generals to that kind of conversation, just being good energy for people.
Yeah, like taking care of yourself is how you take care of others.
Mm,
Because if you have to be in other people's presences, then you want to give them good energy. And you can only do that if you're taking care of yourself.
yeah.
Like, that's kind of how I think about like relationships in general, friendships and like romantic relationships, but also family members and stuff like that. Like, I'm not, like, even when I feel like really bad about myself, like
Mm,
low self esteem, I feel like I'm not like worthy, imposter syndrome, whatever you want to call it, whatever category it falls into that day. Like, I still know that I need to take care of myself for you. I'm not taking care of myself for me. I still need to take care of myself for you.
mm,
So that's something that I always kind of go back to. That reminds me on my bad days that I still need to take care of myself. And then
mm,
eventually I feel better because number one, I'm taking care of myself. And second of all, I'm around other people. Like, because I had to force myself to take care of other people and think of other people. Because when you get
mm.
too selfish, then that's how you like mess up yourself and that's how you mess up your relationships.
Yeah, I
So
feel that.
taking care of yourself for other people is super important.
That's a fine line though of selfish.
Hmm.
Like, you know, I say when you think of like how we're what's too selfish?
Hmm. Mm. That's a good question. I feel like for
Peace,
me,
peace, Chelsea. She said her
our
phone
phone
died.
died, huh? Are you
What's
from
too
New York,
selfish?
by the way?
Me?
Yeah.
From New York?
Yeah.
Do I sound like an East Coast person?
You might.
No, I'm from Jersey. I'm from Jersey. And
That's what it is. Okay.
yeah. Why? Wait, what? What is it?
It was the
Tell me more.
laugh, to be honest. It was the
Oh, for
laugh.
real?
That's a very East Coast laugh. It's like low key, like Fran
Somebody.
Drescher, like a little less nasally, but still has that same kind of quality. Like you have that East Coast laugh for sure, for sure.
That's funny. I wonder if that's why some people are like, I was at an event recently and I'm laughing, being myself, and I see this girl who's like within our like clique, right? But I just met her, and her reaction to my laugh was like it was
I
as if
think
it
your
was
laugh
too
is mad
loud or too
cute.
much for her, right?
Uh,
And that's something that I've had to deal with my entire life. Either I'm too much for people or I'm just enough for people.
huh.
Yeah.
I think it's like an artist thing. I know a lot of people who say I feel like I'm too much for people. Like I'm the
Oh,
same way. because I have a loud ass
Damn.
personality. Like I'm not
Okay.
loud all the time, but I have like a lot of like personality, you know? And those are two different things. Like even just like
Strike
sitting there
on.
can piss people off, I feel like. I'm not even saying anything.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there. I'm either too much or too or whatever, you know? And
Hmm.
I've accepted that. I don't know. I don't fucking care either about that. Like when I say I don't care, I do for a second and then I don't anymore because it's like who else can I be? Right? Like who else can we be?
Like
What?
what else am I supposed to do? Like am I gonna like I don't know, like stop being myself because of this one person I don't even like that
Right?
much?
Like
Like
dumb ourselves down a little bit, right? Like
hmm
and that's why like I respect people, you know, for being who they are, even if it's sometimes ugly.
hmm
Um,
I
even if
love
it's
seeing
just
people's ugly
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, as long as you're not physically hurting me,
Hmm.
you know, like I'm okay with it because like A, that's an example of how not to be, you know, and B, they're working through some demons, um, and they need to, right?
Yeah. I think you actually have to be a little bit ugly to be like truly, truly beautiful. Does that make sense? Because I
Yeah.
don't like the word pretty. So I'm not going to
Mm,
say like you have to be ugly to be pretty. I feel like pretty has a more shallow connotation, like physical appearance. Like I
yeah.
feel like beautiful is like you have like this beautiful like light inside of you and that comes out and that shows on your outer self, you know? Like, I
100%.
love Kaylani so much. Like, Kaylani, I always watch her live streams and, like, her posts on Instagram and stuff. And she has looked like a lot of different people. Like, she looks very different depending on not just her makeup, but also what she's going through at that time. And that light
Mm,
looks different depending on what she's going through. And I feel that. Cause,
I feel
like,
that too.
Cause like my face looks different, like not just with makeup, but like depending on like who I've been talking to, depending on what kind of energy I've been around, my face can look different.
I've
So
never thought of it that way. Yeah. But that
yeah,
makes so much sense. Yeah.
it's crazy. Or I have a lot of friends who are dancers, and a lot of them, well, not a lot, like five people, but small circles. So five people. I wouldn't say they're friends. They're like new friends, new friends. And so one thing that two of them were talking about one day was about how like you have to learn to be ugly as a dancer in order to polish it up. Because when
Mm,
you're allowing yourself to be ugly, you're relaxing into it. You're allowing yourself to expand more. If you're always worried about doing everything perfectly, you're not going to allow yourself to expand as much. And then you're not going to be able to polish it because everything is like in this little narrow space, you know?
I totally understand that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I also, though, when you're saying perfectly, it's bringing me back to me finding myself in conversations and in rooms where people need to feel compelled to talk people out of being perfect, as if
Mm-hmm.
that was their intention. I've been in
Mm.
rooms where like I'm like, why are we talking about this all the time? Like, I'm not here saying I want to be perfect. I'm here saying I want to learn something. And so if I'm asking a question, it's not because I'm trying to be perfect. It's because I'm trying to learn. But for some reason, it's like perceived as perfectionism. That shit gets on my fucking nerve. I had to stop attending stuff because I
Mm.
felt like
Mm.
constantly being bombarded by this messaging of like being perfect. And I'm like, I never look at myself as perfect. I never said I was perfect. I didn't come here to act like to be coached out of perfectionism. Like I'm here to learn and find like my community. And it's so annoying.
Yeah.
I feel like if I get too deep into it, people might know who I'm talking about, so I don't even want to do that. But like I've had to remove myself from those rooms because I'm like, me suggesting a baseline is not being perfect. Like me suggesting a baseline is because I hear it in my head. How do I get it out of my head so we can add that baseline?
Yeah,
How is
I don't
that?
do
How
that.
is how is that a conversation about being perfect? Like I don't know. Like
No, I
I've been
feel
there.
you.
I've been there. Like how is my input leading into a conversation of perfectionism?
I think.
I hate that word.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see that as perfectionism either. I see that more as creativity being expressed. Like you said, if you have something in your head that you want to bring out into the physical realm and you want to add this to the music, then I don't think that's perfectionism. That's more like vision. Like you actually
Yeah,
have like this vision in your head that you know you want to achieve.
yeah.
And that might just be, I don't know. I think they're more trying to like push you to just put it out there.
Mm.
But
How
I feel
can you
like
put it out there if you're being like shot down the moment you put it out there? Like, huh? Wait, what? What are we talking about now? Like, huh? Where are we going with this? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like I find peace when I'm just to myself a lot. You know, I don't let people in so much because the moment you let people in, it's like I feel like I'm on the defense. Like it's like really weird. So, especially navigating this music world and so new into it. Like people think I've been doing it for years. I'm like, no, I'm
yeah,
not. I'm not jaded by any means by the business yet. I'm
yeah.
just like happily just haphazardly finding my way.
I'm just happy to
You
be
know,
here. I'm just along for the ride.
for sure, 100%. Yeah.
No, I feel you. I mean, that's kind of why I was like really happy to find Hard Drive because before I found them, I was looking on Instagram, just like looking at like random creative people on Instagram in my area. I was looking at all the hashtags, like hashtag San Diego artist, hashtag like musicians in San Diego, that kind of stuff. And I was going person by person by person, and it was kind of slow going. So when you find someone who's been cultivating a community for a long time, that's when I feel like I can be around more like minded people. Like, there's this one girl in particular that I absolutely love that I found on San Diego. Her name is
Mm,
Brenda Suarez, and she goes by B. And she runs a podcast and like a small business about healing and about self confidence and expressing your individuality. And as soon as I found her, I was like, okay, I love you. Like, I'm all about all of that. So we started like hanging out more. And I went to a couple of her like community sessions and like I did like a medicine ceremony with her. Do you know what
mm,
rape is?
mm-mm,
It's like a Mexican indigenous medicine ritual, kind of, where they have a certain kind of tobacco that's considered sacred. They like put it in a pipe and then they blow it up your nose. And then they like hold your hands, and it's kind of like supposed to bring out like a lot of the shadows in you so you can like work through them.
mm,
And she comes from a long line of brujas in her on her
mm,
mom's side. So she grew up around doing this stuff. And she just kind of like wanted to cultivate a community that would heal other people. Because a lot of the time, like spiritual practices have been like colonized and gentrified, and you have to pay like a crazy amount of money for stuff that's more watered down versions of spirituality. So she wanted to, have more community around her culture, and she's been doing a great job of that. She's just like a
mm.
great human being in general.
That sounds awesome. Yeah. I love to find people that bring people together like that, just like in a real organic way. Um, yeah, because you do need people. I say, I like to stay alone to myself, but I still know that like you know, we need people to thrive as humans, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm just very picky on like who I put myself at because I'm just so sensitive to energy. Like, and I can't be any other way, you know, because if I find myself, if I compromise that, I suffer, you know?
Yeah, like you have to feel comfortable expressing all parts of yourself, and also they have to be comfortable expressing all of their parts of themselves. It's
Yeah.
like if I meet you, I just want to already be friends with you. Do we have to do the like, hi, how are you? Like, where are you from? What's your
No
favorite
small
food?
talk.
Like, please. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't really care what your favorite color is if you're a jackass, you know? Like I would much rather just hang out with you and talk about some like funny shit or some real shit, you
Yeah.
know?
Even if it's like, I don't even need to talk all the time. You know, sometimes it's
Oh
cool just
yeah.
like enjoying, you know, enjoying the world around you in silence. Like, even if like you're with a group of people, you know? Because, you know, sometimes just that quiet peace with others is kind of nice too, you know, just to like take it in. Um, and then like let the conversation just flow organically. Like, you know, maybe, oh shit, did you see that? Like, I don't know, did you see that cloud? Whatever. I don't know. Oh my God, yeah, I look like a dinosaur, you know? But like just something more organic than that, just that force, like, hi, how are you? I'm Ashley. Nice to meet you. What do you do? What do you do? Like, I don't do good with those introductions. Just like, you know, give me a couple shots and like we'll be good.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Like my thing is I need to drink to like feel comfortable talking to people sometimes, and I don't want to do that. Like
Same.
I like you said, being able to sit in silence with somebody because if I consider you a friend, I don't think that we should have to talk all the time. I think that your presence should be enough.
Mm,
Like, I used to, like, I love shy people, to be honest.
mm,
Like, I love people that love to be alone for the reason that they know themselves. Like, I like
mm,
people that can stand in themselves and that know themselves.
mm,
Also, I like people that have their own internal worlds because they're more interesting to talk to. Like, I like that there are people that have opinions.
mm,
So, one of my best friends, Krista, in high school, like, she didn't really talk a lot, but she was one of the most interesting people I've ever met in my entire life because she had, a lot of thoughts and opinions on things because she spent a lot of time alone and she liked to spend that time alone. Like, I used to get like mad at people if they wouldn't like, call me back and stuff like that because I was like,
mm.
oh, am I not like a real friend or whatever? But I
Yeah.
had to realize that people need their alone time, first of all. And also, maybe they just aren't in a space to talk right now and they'll come back whenever like they feel more in the space to talk. That's
That's
something I had to
facts.
come to terms to because I started being like that later on, so I became
Yeah.
more accepting of it after I became like that.
Yeah. I get it. I've had those similar thoughts. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm also, you know, I'm the bad friend. I
You're the one who
I'll
doesn't
call you
text
like
back
every,
for like 5 days
yeah,
or like 2 months or
yeah,
whatever.
5 days, 2 months. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm definitely that person. And I think it's okay. I've learned that it's okay because I remember, you know, feeling the need to like respond really fast. And then in me responding really fast, like there was a negative reaction to it. And so I've learned that there's no need to respond really fast to things. If you don't have the answers, if you don't know how to respond, if you have nothing to say or nothing to add, take your time responding because I don't know, I've just learned like jumping at stuff too quickly might not be uh the best way to move either.
Because you're
Um
also saying things that don't mean anything sometimes. If you're just
yeah,
jumping into it, like I
yeah,
might say something wrong or I might like just say something that maybe they didn't mean in that like
Yeah.
context. So taking some time to reply to it like definitely matters more than like the amount that you talk. Like
Yeah.
quality over quantity, 1000%.
Yeah. 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 I wish I could remember like all those things this whole conversation that I was having. I literally thought to myself, like, some of this shit that I'm saying is good. I need to record myself in the shower.
Okay, I feel you.
So I don't lose it. Like I literally bought like I went on to Amazon. I was like, how to like get a phone attached in the shower, and I got this little like attachment thing that works on like shower walls and like mirrors and stuff. Cause like some of the conversations I have with myself in the shower are just I call myself, babe, I just had an epiphany. I'll get out of
Yeah.
the shower, babe, I just had an epiphany. And I'm telling my husband like, and you know, he's just like, okay, babe, because like he's just so desensitized to me and my craziness. Um, but like, I just feel like, man, like though someone needs to hear the same message that I'm having with myself, you know. And
I definitely
sometimes
feel you.
that shower in the morning is like that only time to myself and my
Mhm.
thoughts. Because the moment I come out, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm feeding my baby, I'm thinking of a song I want to finish, like.
Mhm.
And so I don't know. Maybe I'll start a series in the showers with Ashley. I don't know, but like I can't. Let's just say um, I've had some really great epiphanies in the shower, and I should invite more people to do that and with
You should
themselves.
invite more people into the shower with you, Ashley. Come on now.
No, even just them, like like if you're not one to talk to yourself in the shower, like give it a go. Like you'll work some shit out.
That is big facts. Like,
Yeah,
okay, even just like talking out loud to yourself, people think you're crazy for doing it. But I think you are so sane if you can actually talk to yourself out loud because you tend to think clearer, I feel like. When everything
yeah,
is just kept in your head when you're talking to yourself, it's like more mumbled. It's not as like articulate. So, like, I'm trying to get more comfortable with it because I like do it sometimes when I'm like, looking in the mirror or something. I'll be brushing my teeth, like just talking to myself in the mirror. But one way that I got a lot more comfortable with it was actually very, very recently. And it's because of these live videos. Like when
oh,
nobody can like jump on yet, I'm just like talking to myself and I feel so awkward. But I've gotten more comfortable doing it and I can look back on those videos and I can like organize my thoughts better about those topics. And then I can talk to other people later on about those things and make it even clearer. So I kind of love doing this.
yeah. My husband's like, "Are you ready? Are you done?"
I mean, it makes your showers longer, but you get a lot more therapy out of it. It's a lot clearer when you get out.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah.
I
No,
did.
I did this live because I thought I needed to do this more, and I felt like you invited me, and I was like, well, I guess there I go. Like I have no excuses anymore not to go live. Like I could just talk to somebody. Because it is weird to go live alone, and maybe you have an idea of what to say, but um, we could sound crazy like Kanye, just rambling along. But hey, like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely look a little crazy sometimes, just like talking to myself on camera. Um, and also, I get like more people involved when we have an actual conversation because
Yeah,
I am not always organized when I'm talking to myself. I can go from like talking about like this thing over here and then talking about this thing over here. And to me, it makes sense. But because I'm not like directly talking to somebody, it just sounds scattered because it makes
yeah,
sense in my head. but I didn't articulate it very well because I'm talking to myself. I think I'm saying it clearly, but that's because I'm talking to me, not because I'm talking to you.
That
Like, I'm
goes
better
back to
articulating my thoughts when I'm talking to somebody.
what you were saying regarding the polished dancer. You got to have those ugly conversations until like they just feel more natural to you. It's the same thing in everything
Hmm.
that we do, like eventually, your ability to talk to an audience will just be more polished,
Yeah.
more refined. And, I don't know, maybe I like an organic conversation. For me, like jotting down ideas and points and notes, like I've done that, but I like, have I ever pulled those out and like actually, no, I never have, because I just don't have the experience of doing that yet. But organic. I've always been an organic person. Organic conversations all the way for me, regardless of how like wiry they get. Um, but yeah, this is all practice.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I mean,
and
you're
it,
welcome to bring your notes on here anytime.
I know. I think I just need to start recording, my moments alone to myself so that I could like not forget all the points I have. But shit, I've, you know, I love the shower. I'll be like in there way longer than I need to be. Like the lights turn off. Like, gotta open the shower door and turn. Hey, activate the light back on. But
Have to turn the fan on because you forgot to turn it on. Get all the
those are
steam
that's
out of there.
yeah, those are the moments that I will be selfish for sure. Um, for myself, because it's like it's introspect, you know and it's so valuable to like to think like, there's been times I thought to myself like, what could I have done better, to
Mm-hmm.
make this experience better, this conversation go better. Could it have? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I like to think about like little things that were bugging me. Like, there's like one little thing that I could have said more, you know? And I don't really know what that one little thing is late until later when I'm in the shower or when I'm like journaling or something like that. And then
Yeah.
I'll realize, oh, wait, that's the thing that was bugging me. That's what
Yeah.
I wanted to say. And then I
Right.
can say it next time when I'm like, I don't know, talking to somebody else or returning to that same person. Either way, like,
i
I feel
I
like
think of that
everyone,
a lot, like that.
yeah, I think everyone needs these conversations. We just like don't know how to have them a lot of the time. Because I never talked about this stuff with my parents. I never talked
Mm,
about this stuff with my grandma.
mm,
I kind of talked about this stuff with my friends and my brother. But for the most part, like this is more like I would be curious about something, so I would Google it. Like I was a nerd when I was a kid. So I would like want to like always ask Google why. Sorry, what?
yeah, my headset died. How's my audio?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, I was like always like curious like about why and stuff. So I'm sorry, what's that?
No, nothing. Listening. There's someone in the back here. Maybe they're.
Oh, okay, it's what it is. But yeah, I was like always asking like why, or I would like get really into spirituality and I asked my grandma to take me to church. Cause the way that my upbringing was, nobody forced me into any kind of religion or spirituality, but like they all had their own beliefs. They just never pushed them onto me. So my grandma took me to church. A Buddhist friend was talking about meditation and like I got interested in meditation and I grew up in LA, so like there's all kinds of different like religions and spiritual faiths and all that. So I feel like those are the conversations I would have that would really kind of spark like something
Hmm.
in me and like maybe more spirited, I guess. Like I just remember like the difference between me and my cousin was always very apparent to me. And she was one of my favorite cousins. She was from Wisconsin. And she came to California for Christmas because for Christmas we would have it at my grandma's house in LA. And my grandma lived like, you know, like the next city over, basically in
Mm,
LA, the next neighborhood over. And I remember my cousin and I like talking about random stuff. And I remember specifically my cousin turned to me one day and said, I'm just like craving like a really good conversation. Like, I don't know like what it is, but like I'm craving like a really good conversation. And that's something that like I've craved myself, but like I never like yearned for it like the way that she did. Because I feel like not being exposed or not searching for certain ideas leaves you like craving for more. Does that make
mm,
sense?
mm-hmm. Definitely.
Like, like that's kind of something I was talking to my friend Mia about a long time ago too. Shoot, I'm having like mad flashbacks right now.
Mm,
But uh, like I feel like when we're like meant to learn as human beings, we're always looking to improve or we're always looking to grow. And if we don't acknowledge that, then we tend to feel like something is missing. And I feel like that's,
absolutely.
I feel like that's something you have to work towards. And it's like, um, if you don't work towards it, then it's going to make it like really hard. So like you have to choose your hard. Are you willing to do the hard work to fulfill that? Or are you going to not fulfill that and you're going to choose the hard of never fulfilling that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. I'm in this like, I like, do I want to learn how to play guitar? Do I want to learn how to play piano? Or do I just want to learn how to like lay down a really dope record? Like, I
I mean, you can
don't,
do either one. Like you
I
already have some
know.
great records. Like I've heard your music on Spotify.
Yeah, I know. I feel like, I'm just having this internal conflict because I had the opportunity to learn piano as a little girl, but I couldn't stick with it. Like I just don't know what it was. I just was like, I don't want to do this. I want to go play roller hockey. And so
Yeah.
sometimes I beat myself up about not sticking with it because I could be totally just producing my own tracks right now. And, having to rely on other people has been really challenging in the sense because there's just a million ways of like interpreting music, and um sometimes it's nice to just be able to rely on myself to get everything across. But at the same time you hear these messages, you can't do it alone, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so like I have like these multiple thoughts in my head, this voice saying learn an instrument. And this other one saying, well, okay, if I learn an instrument, I still need people. So do I need to learn that instrument? Because I'm still going to need people to really like build like a team to like really grow and really like, make impact. And I make the excuse of I just don't have the time to learn an instrument because I really like honestly I'm a mom of three. Like I don't have the time. Like it's one thing if I had a nanny. I don't have a nanny.
Mhm.
Um, and so I need my sleep. I'm exhausted, right? By 10 o'clock. So like I can't do like a 9 to 5 and then like 5 to 10 work on music and learn an instrument. It's just
Mm.
not. It's not. It's just not in the cards for me right now. So navigating like, okay, well, what can I do? And all of a sudden, I have like these ads coming to my coming into my Instagram about vocally and vocally or vocally. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. It's like a $250 program that lets you use your voice to make productions. You're like
Oh
your
yeah.
voice becomes a MIDI, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Is this a way? And that's when I'm like creeped out because I'm like, how does Google know I needed this? Like, right? Like,
I mean, that's what Kanye did. That's how Kanye got big in the first place. Like, he would actually
that's
use
what
his
Dre
voice to
did.
stack it. Yeah.
That's what Dre did. If you look in his master class. Oh wait, no, Timbaland, or
Mm.
I don't know, one of them guys. Timbaland used beatbox to make his productions. Like he would get in the booth and he would, and I'm like, okay. So yeah, now I'm like sitting here. Do I want to spend $250 on this program so I could like, because you know, with music, it's like there's a cost associated with everything you do. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm in the phase of wanting to learn something outside of lyrics and singing because I'll feel like more of that a true musician if I do, um, and stop overthinking it because I think I know what I want to do already.
Yeah. I mean, if you
Yeah.
already have like the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. That was it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what got me into Ableton too, because I'm still pretty new to producing. I started doing Ableton last year, and I got a little MIDI keyboard, like the one that has like the actual keyboard, like a couple of the drum beats on it. And I took like 2 seconds of piano when I was younger, like, and dropped out. I like played Your Land Is My Land or something. That was the last song I learned. Um, and that was like when I was 7. But one thing that's been super helpful is in learning sounds. Like, for example,
Mm,
like there's one song, the first song that I ever worked on producing, that is like the only one that's actually polished because it takes a long time to learn how to do that stuff. This is the only one that's polished. And the way that I got the inspiration for this song was by hitting a teacup with a pen when I was writing the song. So I had like the beat and like how it was supposed to sound in my head because I wanted that teacup noise and then I wanted like a thumping noise, like a drum beat, right? And then I could transfer that onto my DAW because I already had that original like hitting sounds
mm,
experience or like that building. Um, so especially when you're not working with producers that are far along in their journey, like, you know, I could talk to Geo because Geo can make a beat off of anything. He can like
yeah.
know exactly what you're going for and interpret it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've been working with more people recently that are very new to producing, and we don't always have the same idea of what a beat is supposed to sound like. So it's super helpful to like jump on there and be like, okay, I didn't mean for it to sound like that. I meant for it to sound like that. Like
Yeah.
co-producing has been super useful for sure, for sure.
That's awesome. You've been into co-production, huh? That's
I've been
fire.
trying. I've been trying because
Keep going. That's all you can do, right? Is keep trying and keep going. That's amazing.
yeah, I would say do it. I would say just pull the plug and do it. Because,
I
like,
know. I hear you. I hear you. I feel like I can't do it in Pro Tools because I find Pro Tools to be so complex. But when you said
hmm
Ableton, I was like, I might have to pull the plug and get this damn Ableton. I loved Ableton when I first started.
hmm
Um, I was like, I had a loop done, like all this stuff was, I was like, oh my god, like Ableton is so easy. Like it felt that way, and sometimes like that entry to barrier is so important because when something is just so complex and you're not understanding and you're not getting it and it's not working for you, that could be very demotivating. So I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta pull the plug and buy Ableton. I already have
yeah,
Logic and Pro Tools, but shit, like, you just might, if you're doing this for the long haul, you might need all three. Like, I don't know.
yeah. I've been trying.
Maybe Ableton is how I produce, right? And then like how I record my vocals, I do it. But I was recording vocals and like in Ableton, like it was insane how quickly and easy that was for me. I also
Mhm.
heard that that's really good for like Ableton's really good for like live performance, and that's something I want to really start doing this year is like live performance. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the words like return on investment recently because I'll be deterred by the price tag. I'll be like, oh, wait, no, I don't want to do that. Is this worth it? Like maybe I should
Yep.
do something else. Like maybe I should DIY it or whatever. But like I started like, like you said, getting all these ads on Instagram and all of these like targeted commercials about like different people who are like financial gurus and stuff like that. I clicked on one of their like master classes, like a free introduction kind of deal. And in their
Yes.
video, they were talking about return on investment. So if you look at the price tag, you shouldn't think about how much you're spending. You should think about how much you will get returned to you. So
Mm,
like it's not about how much money you're spending on something. It's about how useful that thing is. Like don't
yeah.
think of it in terms of dollars, think of it in terms of value. And one thing I had to realize when I thought about it in that way is that like I went to college for 3 years, right? I
Hmm.
didn't graduate, but like I'm thinking about like I was willing to spend this much money on classes that I like would do because I was pressured by other people, but I'm not willing to spend this much money on my music, something I actually care about. Like
Yeah.
why would I like do that, you know?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that way, like all of like these like classes, all of like the stuff that I'm doing, all the money I'm spending on my music. Like you said, this is for the long haul. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it more in terms of value than in terms of just dollars.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it so annoying though then to hear like, oh, you're not going to make any money on your music?
Oh my
And so
God.
when you say ROI, I'm like, okay, yeah, I hear that. And then you look at like, what musicians are making and like, what everyone's fighting for right now. And you're like, huh, like I want to see more people talking about how, like, I feel like there's a lot of gatekeepers in our industry.
Hmm.
And I feel like I want to see more of these gatekeepers, like, giving the keys out, so that we can all, because there's a lane for everybody, and um, making people suffer and work a decade before they can actually earn something on something that they're working so hard on is the stupidest concept I've ever heard in my life. I feel like it's so, like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 decades ago. Like, we need to know now, you
Yeah.
know? We need to know now. Like,
Like,
and
can I get like, what is it? Like a scholarship or like a, what's it called? An advance? Like that you believe in me and stuff. Can I show that like I am willing to work this hard? You can like pay my rent for a year while I do this.
well, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great. But like, just, I just, just really, it's just the feeling that there's so much gatekeeping, and you got to earn your badge. Like, you got to earn, like, I just hate that stuff. And like, I've heard it. And, um, like, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with it, but I just want more people to be like receiving and, and welcoming and, not trying to like hold the gems, so to speak, just tell us what to do. Like, tell us what we got to do. What do we need to do?
Mm-hmm.
And instead of, oh, I'm going to keep this to myself. There's a lot of those out there. And I feel like the more I meet people, I see people who are really trying to like, pass the torch, which is dope. But we need more of those people.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of why I've been focusing more on building community than making money, to be honest. Because I don't want to be famous and I don't want to do that whole like stadium performances. I don't want to do the whole like fame thing. But what I do
Mm.
want to do is make money from my art and I want to make friends. Like,
Yeah.
those are the main things I'm worried about that I'm trying to work towards. And like one thing I keep hearing from people is you don't make money off of the music. You make money off of the syncs. You make money off of the products that you sell because you are a person. You're not selling your music. You're selling yourself. So it's
Yeah.
more like you're trying to become a personality or become like a figure than become a musician, which is why
Yeah.
a lot of people might be super talented, but they're not going to receive the same kind of notoriety as people who are big personalities,
Mm.
which is fine. You know, people have their different lanes, and music is different to different people. Like, you don't have to be super, like, I don't know, like, you don't have to be that technical person, you know,
Yeah.
but and you don't have to be like only selling yourself and making shitty music. You can be whoever you want to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, I wish that there was like more of a clear cut path on how to get to where you want to be. But I don't think anyone can really tell us how to do that. It's like a thing that you
Nope.
have to figure out for yourself. Like
100%.
what I kind of want to build is a like this is kind of what I'm trying to build with this right now, this podcast. I'm
Mm.
trying, or IG Live, I guess. I could call it a
Yeah.
podcast, it's kind of
Yeah.
not. But what I'm trying to what I am trying to build, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
is this space where people can have these conversations and get what they're looking for out of either a friend, a mentor, or like just like a spiritual teacher. Like I'm gonna start interviewing like preachers and like synagogues and like Buddhist temples and stuff like that,
That's
because I
fire.
feel like a lot of this is about getting to know yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends who don't consider themselves to be artists, or even people I'm not friends with anymore, they consider themselves to be creative, but they didn't consider themselves to be artists.
Hmm.
And some of them struggled with getting to know themselves. They were like, I don't know who I am. I don't know like how to express myself, basically. So what I'm aiming for is a world where everybody feels comfortable with their individuality, and that's what I'm trying to cultivate in this IG live space.
Yeah.
Like,
That's safe. That's amazing. Well, keep it going, girl.
thank you. I'm
You're welcome.
so happy you
Um,
popped in today. I love talking
yeah,
to
me
you.
too. All good. I love talking to you too. It's easy. I like to feel safe, and like there's no judgment, and unfortunately, that comes with the territory of putting yourself out there, but you know, if it feels safe here, which is good. It's a nice little safe space that you're building here, and I'm happy to be a part of it and help you along however I can. Um, but girl, I gotta go. It's family time.
Yeah, I was
hate to
gonna
leave
say.
you hate to leave you here alone, but I feel like you got this. Yeah.
Oh, I was supposed to end this at 1 o'clock, and it's 2 o'clock right now.
Oh
So
shit. All right, dude. Like woo.
yeah, it's been a little overtime. I'm super happy about that because we had a good conversation.
I thought you
Um,
said to a 6. That's why I said this was a long day.
oh hell
That's a
no!
long
Okay,
day.
I did that the first time, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do this again because that was a long ass day. We had some great conversations, but I spent a good 2 hours just talking to myself. I felt
Oh
crazy.
my god.
So we're gonna keep it until 1. We're gonna keep it a little shorter this time.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, and we'll catch up soon, sis. Love talking to you.
Yes.
All
Have
right.
some fun with your family. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.